Hi there, this is Tyler, and I am here running for Monster of the Week, which is probably the game I run the most in the whole wide world. I love Monster of the Week. It's a little bit like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or uh, Stranger Things, a little bit like that. It's a game where we have hunters going after paranormal ickies and awfuls, and I run it in a way that I try to make pretty darn scary. And we're playing at the Gauntlet, the GCOG, the Gauntlet Communities Online Gaming Convention, and this is going to be a little one shot we're running. And I've made some pre-gens. I have some wonderful players here, and we've already gone over some safety tools. I suggest everybody at home use safety tools. It makes your game better. We're all kind of familiar and set up with what those are. And we've got these pre-gens, but people are kind of customizing that. And we're going to intro them in just a moment. But folks, if you're watching this and you want to find a group of people that are a ton of fun to play with, supportive, safe space to enjoy gaming, you should find the Gauntlet. You can find us at gauntlet-rpg.com. We do all sorts of cool things. We run about 100 sessions of games a month. We have a magazine we put out. We have a Slack. There's a lot of stuff you can do. It's a ton of fun. You should come and find us. So why don't we find out our characters? And I'm going to start in character keeper order. Our spooky. Kay, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I use she, they pronouns. However, tonight I will be playing our spooky Peter Mayhew, who uses he, him pronouns. I've got a lovely picture of a gentleman with some dark coiffed hair and an absolutely fantastic mustache. His look is male, adult, with piercing eyes and well-made and tailored clothing. Unfortunately, unlike his appearance, his charm is -1. His cool is -1, his sharp is 2, his tough is 0, and his weird is 2. The moves that Mr. Mayhew has access to is the sight. You can see the invisible, especially spirits and magical influences. You may communicate with them, maybe even make deals with the spirits you see, and they give you more opportunities to spot clues when you investigate a mystery. He also has telepathy, which allows one to read minds and push through to there, as well as hunches. When something bad is happening or just about to happen somewhere that you aren't, you can roll sharp and know more about it. And I think at this point in his life, Peter is a medium recent transplant to Dalton. He came in from the big city where he'd made a lot of money and is now putting that money into a location from Dalton. Let's just say he got a little hint about the future and the future generations from his abilities that he sort of honed a wee bit. And he's setting up a lodge here and has been paying and slowly getting this place built from the ground, a rather large, exquisite, hand-built wooden lodge.
Awesome. That is fantastic. So I want to ask, is Peter a bachelor?
That's such a good question. I'm back and forth. I'm wondering if he either is a bachelor or if he has a wife and a young child. One of the two. I'm waffling a little.
Well, I'll ask. Is he a bachelor, or did he does he have family that haven't moved down yet? He's still setting up for, or are they already here with it?
I think if he did have a family, they wouldn't be here yet.
Okay. Well, maybe think a moment.
Yeah,
Decide
I'll think about
what
that.
city, or at least what general area, has he come to the backwoods of Kentucky from?
I think he was in New York.
All right. So, made money in New York, has come here, opening up a lodge, perhaps to attract some of the wealthy hoi polloi to come and enjoy the natural world of Dalton. Is that the idea?
Exactly. He had a hunch, we'll call it, that that this was going to be something big one day, and this was where he needed to be. Much
Awesome.
to, I think, the chagrin of the, I'm sure he did like some kind of stock brokery career or something like that,
Mm.
and got out of that. He's very sharp, and so he left that with a lot of money in tow,
And
and has
this is
put a
the
lot of
Gilded Age. There's a lot of money to be made.
yeah, he's made a lot of money, and he's putting it into this spot and into this town.
Awesome. How does he think of his gifts?
He sees them as something special. He believes that this was something that, because he is so magnificent, that the divine has given upon him.
Ooh, so a God-given gift.
He can't imagine what else. It certainly is not the devil. He's a good man.
You're able to see like spirits and ghosts. Is that something he does a lot, or does it happen infrequently? Have there been a lot of ghosts or spirits in his life?
I think it started off infrequently, but I think he's maybe dealt with it for a while. Like, it manifested in his teen years, and he's been dealing with it a bit. That he sees them, and it's just like he chooses whether he acknowledges it at all.
I think he may have found that, in New York, so many people around, there were ghosts to be seen, but considering how small Dalton is, it is surprising how often he catches the sight of ghosts and spirits out of the corner of his eye.
Yeah. And I think he doesn't know small town life to know that it's strange, because he's
Mm.
used to being in New York. And so he thinks that's what it is. Now, well, Peter thinks that his gifts come from something nice and divine. I, the player, know that is not true. And so for his dark side tags,
Hmm.
I have chosen greed for power.
Nice.
I have chosen secrets. And then I need to pick a third, and I'm a little unsure. We're bouncing off ideas. If anyone else has any ideas.
So which feature is this?
This is the dark side feature on the revised playbook for the spooky. I'll read off the options. Violence, depression, or at least the ones I haven't picked already. Violence, depression, lust, dark bargain, guilt, soulless, addiction, mood swings, rage, self-destruction, poor impulse control, hallucinations, pain, and paranoia.
And paranoia is certainly fun. It's hard to, let me see if I can bring this up. Spooky. Where's the...
Yeah, right now he's got greed for power and secrets.
There. The last thing I just put in will give you all of the revised playbooks there.
And where's that under? Tome of Mysteries, or
If you look at the last, I accidentally just shared my enormous, massive one with you the first time. If you look back on the chat, the second one, I popped up just that one.
Gotcha. Okay.
Plus, technology frightens me. I hate change.
That's such a mood.
I'm old. I just turned 50 a few days ago.
No, you're lying.
It's true. So, yeah. Well, let's.
Yeah, we can move to someone else while we waffle on that.
Yeah, let's think on that. And it is worth noting you also have the advanced investigative mystery, which opens up some really cool options there when you do that move. All right.
I suggest the ones you picked are what?
The ones I picked were greed for power and secrets so far.
Hallucination sounds like that'd be really fun.
Ooh.
Which could play into the idea that you're convinced that this is divine. To the idea that you're perhaps seeing things that may or may not be there. Just suggestion that seems like that might work well.
That's definitely a good option.
Yeah, think on that one. And why don't we move over then and find out a little something about our mundane? Greg, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Well, I'm Preacher Dan, and I've come to Dalton to spread the good word. I come from Ohio, and I met a man named Joseph Smith that told me a whole nother gospel of what happened back in the day, and I'd love to share it with you.
I love it. I love it. Why don't you tell us your moves you've got?
I got Power of the Heart. When fighting a monster, if you help somebody, don't roll cool. You automatically help as though you rolled the 10. What could go wrong? Whenever you charge into immediate danger without hedging your bets, hold 2. You may spend your hold to inflict more harm, reduce someone's harm that they suffered, or take +2 forward to act under pressure. Or let's get out of here. You can protect someone by telling them what to do, or by leading them out, roll charm instead of tough. And I have advanced manipulate somebody. And I have a broken down nag, which I had to look up. That's an old horse named Grandpa Horse.
Love it. And how long have you been here in Dalton?
I just got in. And I'm looking for the kindness of some good Christian folk to help me out.
Okay, so within the last day or so, you're saying that new.
Yep. Yes.
Love it. That is very interesting. Do you have a family back home, or is anyone traveling with you?
Yes, I have a family, but I'm ostracized. They didn't like me running around with this Mr. Smith character, and so I figured I'd take off and let things cool down.
Can I ask, why did you decide to not go to Utah when Mr. Smith and
he's not in Utah yet. I think he's still here.
I think he is in Utah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that happened like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
50 years ago?
Yeah, because they were there by the Civil War.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Why didn't I? What I'll say is, let's see, why didn't I go?
And plenty of people did stay to preach the word.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think, God talked to me and told me I should stay.
All right.
I would just note that Joseph Smith was killed in 1844.
Yeah.
Okay. So what time period is it right now?
1890.
Oh, 1890. Okay.
So you would have heard the word of Joseph Smith from the followers.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Cool.
About how old are you?
Oh, all right. Nope. I'm changing it. This is
Okay.
alternate history. I talked to Joseph Smith.
Ooh.
So we'll just say alternate history. Joseph Smith is just getting started in Ohio. I'm one of the first ones.
Oh my. Okay. Well,
I'm going nuts.
All right. Well, okay.
If that's acceptable. If that's
I will. Well, how about we have this idea? Rather than them just getting started, because we won't mess with history quite that far.
Okay.
But do you think you may have heard Joseph Smith, at least to your belief, and he spoke to you?
Yes. He claims he talked to Joseph Smith. Everyone else thinks he's crazy.
I mean, Joseph Smith spoke to an angel in a hat, so I mean, it's entirely, it's within the religion.
Yeah, we'll say that. We'll go back to normal world. But Preacher Dan spoke to, he thinks he spoke to Joseph Smith.
And is a true believer in spreading the word. Excellent. And you say your family, though, did not approve of this.
No.
And so
No.
you've come on your own to spread the word. Have you found a place yet here in town to stay? Has someone brought you in?
We'll say that a farmer is letting me stay in his barn for way too much money.
So he is charging you.
He's charging me.
Oh,
And maybe he's not charging, but Dan thinks of it as just helping out another soul. If this guy's asking a lot, he probably needs a lot of money. He
okay.
probably needs the money. So,
do you have a good bit of funds, or is this starting to make you a little strapped?
this is making me strapped.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a
But
nice.
God provides. God provides.
He does. He does indeed. All right. So with that idea of our Father Dan, let's move over. David, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, I'm Dean Baker, and I am just a humble peddler from in town from Poughkeepsie, New York. Definitely never done anything exciting in my entire life. I just think there's some good business here in what's this town called? Dalton. I don't know. For my patent medicines and assorted knickknacks. I'm staying in the best local boarding establishment here, which is you can almost hear the quotation marks as he says that he's staying in the best local establishment. But oddly, he wears sort of a worn down suit, and is constantly smoking cigarettes out of a little metal holder that he has.
Nice.
None of which are sort of upstate New York, or Poughkeepsie's not quite upstate. However, the New Yorkers define it. And he's got sort of a calculating eyes, and they sort of shift back. He sort of switches between like driving really hard bargains and letting things go for a song, with no real no real difference in between. It's sort of a random mood swings.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell us his moves. I'm very interested in his first one.
Yeah, so I'm the crooked. So my moves are grifter. When you're about to manipulate someone, you can ask the keeper what will convince this person to do what I want. The keeper will answer honestly, though not necessarily completely. I have found a magical artifact with handy powers and kept it. Most of these were pretty, +1 bonus, which I think is pretty boring. And so even though my weird stat sucks, I took the most interesting item, which is the Imp Stone. Which at the very least should give me some XP pretty easily. I have a stone. The weak demon is bound to serve the holder, but I have to use the use magic move to successfully summon it.
Neat.
And I have notorious. I have a reputation for my criminal past. What criminal past? I have no criminal past. I'm a humble trader from Poughkeepsie. Never been to Chicago. Never heard of it. When you reveal who you are, your terrifying reputation counts as a reason for people to do what you ask. For the manipulate someone move. Revealing your identity to someone can create other problems later, of course.
Of course.
And I have advanced move, read a bad situation.
Excellent.
I'm from New York, and you sure don't sound like you're from New York, and I have a cousin up in Poughkeepsie.
Ooh, a little suspicion off the beginnings. I will ask real quick, Peter, how far along is your lodge?
I would say, let's see, God, how long does it take to actually build a huge ass lodge?
Take a while.
I think the start of it is done. There's a part of it that's ready, and there's more being expanded upon. So he can't have as many guests as he would like, but he can still have a couple of guests, and a taste of what is to sort of come as a thing.
All right. Well, Dean, are you staying at the lodge, which would be the
That would be
finest
the best lodge.
lodging? Now, are you
Absolutely,
keeping-
I'm staying at the finest lodging in this this town of Dilton has to offer.
So you have you've taken a room at one of the nice ladies' houses that runs boarding house there.
Yes.
Excellent. All right then. Thank you. That's I love these three characters, and now let's find out why there's a little something that's connecting them. I'm gonna ask again, coming down, Mr. Mayhew.
Mhm.
Which one of these two other characters have you met in the past?
If it's not too much, David, I think I met Dean in the past, and I think that's why I'm not buying this whole shtick.
All right. Did you meet Dean and come away in a friendly or in an unfriendly fashion?
So I think it was like a mix.
Mhm.
I think you were doing your if this is okay, you were doing your snake oil salesman thing. And as someone who works in stocks, I know when a deal sounds too good. And also, I maybe had some intervention by some ghosts who may follow you around because they died from your swindling.
I want to clarify here. The snake oil salesman is a front. That's something I've started doing.
To
Oh,
hide
okay.
the fact that you're actually a
Yeah.
rather violent criminal.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I have a very violent criminal past.
Okay.
Criminal past. Let's go. How violent it was is to be determined.
Yeah. Let's pop back to that. Were you an actual like gangster who killed people, or
So I was not an enforcer or assassin.
right?
Like my job was
You're
not.
a grifter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was involved in running some rackets.
Mm.
Okay.
And if someone needed to be dealt with, I dealt with them. But
Okay.
And when you left Chicago,
I
the
left
real
Chicago
place
when the heat got way too much.
heat from your fellow criminals or from the police?
Criminals, I think.
Oh,
I think
You offended the wrong person.
yeah. Let me just check the timeline here.
We're very early mob, especially for Chicago in the
no.
1890s. We're
Mr.
looking
Alfonso
at
Capone was born in 1899.
Mhm.
Can't turn any.
Chicago
there.
would have had mostly Irish mob at the time.
But what I think I did, I wasn't the local. Like I was cool with the local gangs.
Mm.
But there was an outfit from Boston that was trying to push its way in. And some words got exchanged. There were some disagreements about how much things should cost. And a body may have ended up lying on the floor.
Mm. And it was decided
there may have been some witnesses.
Okay.
This person may have had some legitimate fronts.
So finding a place to lay low seemed like a wise decision.
Yeah, look, I didn't do something bad enough that everything's over, but the heat, gotta let the heat die down.
So we see that Peter knows of you, has dealt with you, figured out some grift you were kind of running. So I'm going to ask you, Dean, what was it that Peter figured out you were running?
Let's see. I was selling forged documents, fraudulent college degrees. diplomas.
Ooh. Oh, I like that.
Where for the right price, you could be a Harvard grad.
Ooh.
You could have graduated from any number of the finest institutions of education in the great United States of America.
All right, so Peter, you figured out these weren't real.
Having graduated from an institution as such myself, I noticed a few things lacking.
And but you said it was kind of a mixed bag on whether you were friendly or unfriendly.
Yeah, I think
How
I
does that
respect his
work out?
hustle. I think I respect his hustle.
So it wasn't like you turned him in. You didn't.
Yeah, I didn't
Well,
turn him in. I didn't, do anything like that. I just said, "Oh no, I've got my degree. I'm good. Thank you, though."
Well,
Eh,
we're wanting to build a little something deep. So I'm gonna ask Dean, what advice did Peter give you
oh, I
that
love it.
served you well after your encounter?
Just a moment. Let me check something. So this might be too little. But Columbia is spelled with a U.
I love that so much. I love that. I think he looked at it and was like, "Columbia is spelled with a U."
I
Just
love it.
for your future endeavors.
So we have a little bit of a friendly relationship, and Dean, I think when
Dean
you got
refuses to recognize Peter. Insists that you must have confused me with someone else.
nice, okay, because you come into town and you certainly know that Mr. Mayhew is kind of a big to-do in this town at this point. So we're going to shift over. Greg, Preacher Dan has only been here a short while, but which of these two other characters does Preacher Dan have a little history with?
Let's say that Dean. How about this? How about Preacher Dan bought his college certificate from Dean?
Oh, I love it. That's
Your divinity degree.
Yeah, from Columbia University.
with a U.
I was gonna say, was this pre or post my clarification?
Columbia with an O. You have a degree that says Columbia University with an O.
Excellent. So I'm going to ask.
Dean's got this whole spiel, or had this whole spiel, or he would if that were something he would ever think about doing. Where he's saying that there's nothing fraudulent about it. This is how the universities actually work. And he gives you a little test. You have to sort of fill out this test, and if you pass the test, then you're eligible to receive the diploma, which is a certified test you see from the university itself. And
yeah, I like it. I like it.
Trump University style.
Yes. Yes. So I would say maybe in a previous, it wasn't in town that he bought it, but
right, it would have been earlier, right?
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
I've clearly picked the wrong town to hide out in.
Right, it turned out this is coincidence. And Dean, what is the name of your imp? Does he have a name?
Oh,
you don't have to come up with it now, but he does have a name.
Yes.
And so over and over, this demon is the same demon when you summon it up. And I think
do I need to come up with the demon's actual name, or just a name that I call him?
The name you call it.
Okay.
And I think once you had made this deal, he said to you, "That one has been touched by the divine. You should watch yourself, Dean. We'll see him again." Father Dan, on the other end of that, what did you think of the nice Mr. Baker that put you through your matriculation at Columbia?
He's such a helpful guy. Um, I talked to him about the Book of Mormon. He wasn't that interested, but good thing I ran into him again. God's put us together again. So maybe it's my time to preach a little bit more.
Ah, I love it. And so we come finally. Dean, you have already got a bit of history with both of these characters. So I'm gonna ask you, um, would you like to deepen a history with one of those? Or is there someone here that there is a reason you came to Dalton in the first place?
I think it's the latter. I think his relationship with the other two are quite deep enough for his tastes. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right.
No,
Um,
I think there's a third person he knows in town.
You have an idea who that is, or want me to throw someone at you?
No, I've got the idea. I'm just formulating it.
Okay, no.
The school teacher in town is his ex-flame.
Ooh,
Man,
I
you
love
did
it.
pick the wrong town.
Oh,
No,
I
he,
mean-
he came here because of that. That's why he picked this
oh.
random weird town.
Even better, even better.
all right. Then I
And
think.
she's not super happy to see him.
All right. Then I think our teacher is Miss Crabapple. And she has come to the town since when the mining company has hired her to teach the local kids. You knew her back at home. How did y'all part?
There was a disagreement about exactly what Dean's relationship was to a local barmaid.
Oh,
This was never settled in a conclusive manner.
I see.
Sybil Crabapple leaped to some conclusions, and about Dean's character and actions that were wholly unjustified. He would never do such a thing like that.
And I'm going to ask one other question, and then I think it feels like we're set. Did she know what your real business was?
No, not at all.
Really? You managed to keep her completely in the dark?
She's a very trusting person. Which is
Poor
why she turned
lady.
hard when that trust was betrayed.
All right.
Despite being a complete misunderstanding, but no, she was impressed that that she was seeing someone who had such impressive connections with such impressive institutions of higher learning.
I see.
That he was allowed to administer their correspondence degrees.
Then I think, she's probably not going to be of the forgiving sort now that you've arrived back in town.
No, their relationship is fraught, but
Fraught.
she's too good of a person to turn him in or kick him out. And he's not staying with her, but
right. To
she's not
denounce him
happy
as a
about it.
horrible person.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we have the three of you. I think we're going to start a scene, and then we're going to have our first break. So, Preacher Dan, you are heading back towards the barn you're staying after having been traveling kind of the farms to go and meet the people that live around here. It has gotten late. down here in Dalton, in the valley, it gets dark early. The sun dips behind the mountain, and almost like oil pouring itself into the valley, the darkness starts to spread. And maybe you were, going a bit later than you should have, because it is really very dark as you're on the road back to the farm. When you see, standing at the edge of the lane that you're traveling, a young man, maybe, late 20s, standing there in the trees. He looks at you and Sir, excuse me, do you have a light?
Are you okay? Yeah, and I guess we'll say I have no, we'll say I don't.
Okay. So you tell him no?
Light as in cigarette or light as in like lantern?
He's just said a light.
Oh, okay. Well, only the light of our Lord and Savior. It seems to be getting dark in here. Can I help you out, fine sir?
Do you have a light?
I was kind of gonna save this match. This is my last one. This is kind of my safety match. But yeah, I can help you out. Here, let me. What, you need a torch?
Do you get down from your horse and move over?
Yeah.
As you get close, you can hear coming down the road, from the direction you were moving, the sound of a horse moving at pretty good speed. Mr. Mayhew, why are you needing to go back into town?
So, I needed to go back into town because a keg had been forgotten off of my order. And so I'm just riding in to go pick it up real quick. I have a guest who very much likes to be deep in their cups, and I want to make sure I have enough to provide properly. This is a big guest in town from, let's see, would it be too spicy if I said from Chicago?
Or Boston, I'd suggest.
Or Boston, actually, yeah. A big guest in town from Boston who has good connections. Oh, yeah, you picked the worst town. Who has great connections that, if all goes well, means that they'll be letting their friends know and other people know, which means that more guests, more spending, bigger lodge, better hype. And so I'm getting that beer.
Do you have a lantern with you as it's gotten dark? Or are you
of course.
Okay. So I think, Preacher Dan, you see a light coming down and the sound of horse hooves moving at decent pace down the road as you kind of approach this young man. As you get close, you notice his face is completely devoid of emotion. And as you get closer, Sir, do you have a light? And you brought that match out as around the bend you see this horse and the rider with its lantern, and you kind of turn back to look at the horse and when you turn back to this young man, he suddenly, you would swear, as though a rope were tied around his waist, he is jerked back into the woods. And it is so quick, you almost have to think for a moment, did I even see him? Just poof!
Whoa! Are you okay? Are you okay?
And Mr. Mayhew, you hear this person screaming into the woods by the side of the road as you ride up. And we're going to take our first break here.
Spicy.
Let's take 9 minutes and come back at a 25 after the hour.
Sounds good.
folks at home, again, if you want to come and game with awesome people, you should check out the Gauntlet, gauntlet-rpg.com. They have a ton of stuff, a lot of games, and really friendly, happy people that play together. And shortly, we'll have folks back, and the scary will start.
And so Dalton is on a boat?
You know I love a good boat game. I
Yeah.
do love any sort of naval game. That one we played is the only non-Dalton game I've run for GCOG.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So Dalton's usually your thing.
I usually will do Dalton over different time periods. I've had it in
Yeah.
the 70s. I've had it in the 1700s. I've had it in modern time.
Oh, before I forget, for that Old Gods of Appalachia,
Mhm.
should I start at a particular part? Like,
I would start at the beginning.
Okay, cool.
I would start at the beginning, and shout out to them. They're amazing. It is such a very, really well put together podcast.
They have an official TTRPG book coming.
They do indeed. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
They're just up the road from me in around the North Carolina mountains. I'm in South Carolina, but they're around Asheville and get up into Tennessee and all of that areas where they do their stuff. Great podcast. All right, well, we got everybody back, and I left us there on the road. I promise I will get to you in a moment, Mr. Baker, but I think I want to see as the really beautiful horse comes riding up to Preacher Dan. Kind of, Peter, I think you see this person, you see their horse in the road, and you see this person off to the side, and is it fair to say, Preacher Dan, you're looking a little confused at the moment, right?
Yeah.
And yelling out into the trees, are you all right? So, Peter, what do you do?
Yeah, Peter sort of slows down on his horse and looks over at Preacher Dan and just sort of frowns. Are you all right, good sir? Perhaps has he met Preacher Dan actually? Like, would I have met you? Have you been here like long enough? You think, or
you might have heard of me.
okay, yeah.
You might have heard of the new guy.
Yeah, because you've only been here a couple of days, haven't you, Preacher Dan?
Yeah. So if I haven't heard of you, I'm gonna be like, are you a little too in your cups, sir? Where are you staying?
Oh, well, I'm staying at Farmer Baker. I'm staying in his barn. Although I don't know for how long because I can't afford his fee. And I'll name a price that's maybe like double of what you were renting or something. You know?
Wow, I'm an expensive place, and this place is double.
Oh well, okay. That's
well,
not the case.
Double what you'd expect him to be paying for a bar.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was. I mean, I guess I let things get too late. But there was this young man who was talking about a light, and I walk up to him, and then he just, whoosh, boom, and was gone. I don't know what I saw.
Hearing that, I'm gonna pause for a moment, and I'm going to shine my light out into the woods. And I have an idea. I think perhaps that something spooky is afoot, and I want to see if with the sight do I spot anything.
I think there's a certain residue of, you can sense something was there.
Okay.
But it does not seem the same as any spirit or ghost you've ever known. This is new, this is different, and it is very dark.
I see. Well, you know what? I'm sure it was just one of the locals getting up to their pranks. They made me endure many my first few months. Why don't you come with me and I'll drop you off back at Farmer Baker's. Did you know Farmer Barkley? We don't have a Farmer Baker here. There is a gentleman named Baker recently in town, but he sells potions and whatnot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Barkley. Yep, that's it. Barkley.
Yes, I'll drop you off at Barkley's, good sir. Why don't you come hitch upon my horse with me?
Oh, well, thank you, And I am Preacher Dan.
That's who you are. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm.
This image is clearer now.
I've just come here to do God's will, and to open people's eyes to the promise of eternal life.
Funnily enough, I too came here upon God's will, and he'll start like the horse up with the lantern going into town.
I'm gonna ask though, Peter, did you, in kind of giving this survey, did you take enough time you feel like you investigated?
You know what? Yeah. I think I
Okay.
investigated.
All right, so you kind of moved your horse over in the light, and as Preacher Dan moves over to you, and Preacher Dan, potentially you could help with this, depending on how the roll goes.
Yeah.
So you're rolling with Investigative Mystery is sharp.
No help needed. Oh, actually, you know what? Help, because I got an 11 and I have advanced.
All right.
I have
So,
advanced.
roll plus. Oh, wait, but I could help. Can I help?
Yes, help. Please help out.
Yes.
Go
See.
for it.
Okay, I don't have any power. I roll plus cool, and my cool is a -1. So don't.
You don't have to, though.
You don't have to.
This is only when
I
fighting a
have luck.
monster, though.
You have the power of the heart.
I think that's when fighting a monster.
Oh. You're
Oh.
right. You're right. That's when fighting. So you can give a shot.
Yeah.
Rolling
You don't
net.
have to if you don't want to.
What I do, I help,
You do.
and I
help.
got a 4.
Ooh, I love it. Okay.
So then I get an 11.
You get
Mine.
an 11. Let's have you do your investigate, and then I'll hit that hard move for.
I get an experience for that.
You do.
Yeah. What sort of creature is it?
What was here was a construct, was something created to fool someone.
What was it going to do?
It was going to take this man.
All right. Yeah, I hold on tight, Preacher Dan. And I am going to try and like really go fast and get us out of here.
As you begin moving off, Preacher Dan, this nice stranger seems to be hustling you along towards your destination. But as you look kind of off to the side, you see that young man in the trees, or you think you do, looking back out at you.
Oh, he's there! He's there! I'm coming for you.
I want to move the
I'm
horse
coming
fast enough
for
that
you.
he cannot get off safely.
How about we do, I think, on this, and then we're going to shift over and see Mr. Baker.
Begging on his knees at his old lady's place.
How about we do either a protect someone or a manipulate someone? Peter, what do you think?
I think this is to protect someone, at least.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. So roll tough. How'd you do?
Yeah, no, I was trying to see that it's a 6.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
I love that you love it.
I think you begin moving your horse to kind of push against Preacher Dan's. As Preacher Dan's going, no, he's right there. And there's a kind of, shoving of the two horses against each other. And as they kind of are moving off to the side, you see this man that Preacher Dan is talking about. Late 20s, very plain, and not an emotion to his face at all. As he says, "Sir, do you have a light?" And as he says that, you feel this compulsion, this desire to help. But as this is kind of coming to you, your lantern disconnects from the strap it is attached to, lands on the road in front of you, and flares up as the oil catches. The man, Preacher Dan, you saw this before. Thought you saw this. This time you, Peter, see it as well. When the light flares up, again, completely emotionless, this figure just whips back into the trees. Again, almost like a rope attached to their center. They almost fold up and are gone that quickly. It is in no way human what you're seeing. No. It is absolutely supernatural as it disappears. And you're stunned a moment looking at this, which is probably why you did not notice that some of the oil had landed on your pants and struck flame. You will take one harm.
All right.
As we shift scene, as I'm guessing you are trying to put out the fire.
Oh, yeah, frantically trying to put out my pants.
And both of your horses are kind of rearing, and we'll come back to you in a moment. Mr. Baker.
Well, what about it?
Where do we find you? Are you at your boarding house? Are you at one of the many, many pubs? Or somewhere else? As this evening, it's 8 o'clock or so. So most of the people have finished up eating, drinking, and would be leaving a public house. Only those who don't have a job would be staying. And the streets are getting empty.
At this time of night, when people are leaving the public houses, that's when I've discovered I do some of my best business.
So you're set up outside.
I've got my wagon set up, and I'm doing this full spiel. Because this is just a cover, but I do have to earn a living somehow, and I paid a lot of money for this wagon.
All right.
And I've learned that when everyone's a little tipsy, that's when they're most willing to pay for patent medicines.
Makes perfect sense.
Hangover cures.
A little vigor for in the morning.
Yeah, you, sir. Looks like you've had a few drinks tonight. You're going to regret that in the morning unless you get Dr. Baker's patented 100% guaranteed hangover cure. Not 100% guaranteed.
And I think you've got a little crowd coming up. Oh, you say you don't feel the effects in the morning?
No, not at all. I mean, obviously, any medicine you take, there'll be some side effects. Don't trust any salesman who tells you there's no side effects. But would you rather have that splitting headache, that nausea?
Ooh, I hate that nausea. What's nausea?
Trust me. If you had it, you'd know it.
And I think a little crowd's coming over. They're starting to purchase a thing or two. As you hear one of the men there say, "Well, I need something. I don't want to go back down that mine. His buddy says, look, it won't be as bad as it was. I don't like going that deep. And I saw the girl the other day. The guy's like, no, I don't even want to hear it. There's a silence for a moment, and then his buddy says, did she ask you for a light? What are you just sticking close to business, or does that strike your curiosity at all?
I take note of it, but I not enough to inquire any more deeply about it.
Okay.
It's something I would note, and if I happen to encounter that again, it will ring a bell. But these yokels out here have all sorts of superstitions, and besides, these guys are drunk.
Very true. And so for the next 20, 30 minutes, you do relatively brisk business. They have a bit of cash. There is a really productive mine going. And so after 20, 30 minutes, you've made a half dozen sales. The crowd is moving away. You can hear the little bit of sound of the, folks that don't go to work getting into their cups more solidly. And the streets have gotten very dark. There are lights at the doors of most of the establishments downtown. But other than there's no street lights or anything. And I think it's then that you see a gentleman in a suit with a star on his chest moving over towards you.
You, sir, you've had a few interested in a hangover cure?
No, I don't think that's what I'm looking for, young man. My name is I gave it to us too. I even said the name of the sheriff.
Was it Sheriff Logan?
Yes. I'm Sheriff Logan, and I don't think I know you, young man.
Well, my name is Dean Baker. Traveling salesman here. I was selling people some patent medicines to help with the various ills for the mine workers and all that, hangover cures, like that. It works real well. Would like one in the house, sir? I always support our local law enforcement.
Want to try and manipulate someone here?
Sure, absolutely.
You can see he's a bit skeptical of what you're offering out, and might be beginning to, at least starting from a position a little hostile on hucksters selling patent medicine in his town. So, seems like you're offering up something for him to begin with. You're not playing on being a criminal at the moment.
No, not using my move, just the normal thing.
All right, so rolling charm. Would you care to ask your question?
Yes, I got a 8+1 for a 9.
Don't forget your grifter move.
My what? Sorry?
Your grifter move.
Yeah, I don't think I need that here. Let me just double check that.
It's a free question.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, yep, right. I was confusing that with Notorious. Yeah. So that's the free question: is what will convince this person to do what I want?
He is interested in a free sample, but you probably need to convince him or let him know that you're not just some fraud, some charlatan here. So a little something of credentials would go a long way. So how did you roll?
I got a 9.
Nice.
So our first successful roll of the adventure.
All right. So with a 9.
Yeah. and what I want from him is no trouble, at the very least, and perhaps some a good relationship, but at the very least, no trouble.
Right.
And I'm offering him this free sample, and I see his skeptical look, and I say, "Sir, I can tell that you're a little skeptical, and frankly, I would be in your situation. There's a lot of real frauds that come through here.
Oh, we get them all the time.
But I want to assure you that not all salesmen are frauds. Some of us are legitimate. And I myself have a degree in chemistry from Columbia. And I whip out a diploma and show it to him.
He takes it. Oh, I've heard of that university there. That's a pretty high-end university. What brings a learned man like you around then?
Well, you ever been to the big city, Sheriff?
I've been to Lexington.
Yeah, no. You've probably heard some things about the crime and the vice and well, let's just say I lived there as long as I could, and you just the years there to get my degree was enough. And at a certain point, I need to get back to good old wholesome small town Kentucky, where good honest people live.
Well,
and of course, and where there's a buck to be made. Of course, I don't want to put myself out like some kind of angel.
that's
I don't want to
understandable.
move to Peoria for quiet, but your fine town, sir, is the best of both worlds.
You
A break from the big city, but opportunity for business.
You're planning on putting up a shingle dock?
I've been considering it, Sheriff. Honestly, business has been real good, and there's no apothecary here in town.
No.
But I haven't made up my mind. I'm in the traveling salesman business, and every month a new town. But there's a need here, and I can feel that need.
Well, I'll tell you. What'd you say your name was?
Dean. Dr. Dean Baker.
Well, Dr. Baker, I'll tell you. This town could use a doctor. They got a sawbones the company brought in for the mine.
Which I don't want to mislead you. I am not a medical doctor. I've picked up a few things. I am a doctor of chemistry.
You can see that sort of play across his eyes of a doctor's a doctor's.
Which
doctor.
is basically a doctor, Sheriff.
Yes. Yeah, well, we could use chemistry, I'm sure. They got a surgeon up there at the mine, but he's just an arm lopper as far as I can tell. Maybe having someone around who can work up the cures and the remedies. We got plenty of wise grannies around, but having a man of learning wouldn't be so bad either. I'll give this a try. Not that I drink.
No. I've got a limited supply, Sheriff, but if someone you know has perhaps had a few too many to drink, you just come see me, and I can help you out.
I'll let folks know. And you got somewhere you staying here in town? I think I heard you're up at the boarding house.
Yes, that's right. The finest establishment that your fine town has to offer.
Oh yeah, she runs a very fine house there. Do be careful though.
Careful.
Don't get out on the roads late at night. The
brigands?
No. But the roads are a little rough, and I've been hearing of might be some bears and that sort of thing around. A few folks gone missing here lately. Stay close to town.
You can count on that, Sheriff. I'm just ordinary salesman here to help the people out with some tonic patent medicines.
Take care then, Dr. Baker. And he
You-
pockets his little bottle of your medicine and heads on down the road. You going to head back to your boarding house or something else on your mind?
I pack up the wagon and bring it over to the little lot where I park it. And then I head over to the schoolhouse.
Ooh. All right.
It's time for another go here at lovely Sybil.
I think she has a set of rooms off the back of the schoolhouse. And so you move around to the back and knock on the door. And there is a light on, and a few moments later you see carrying an oil lamp to the door, and she shines it so she can see you, is Miss Crabapple. She sees it's you, and you can see the expression on her face sort of harden, which is a shame because she has such a normally pleasant and friendly face. And as she opens the door a crack, she says, "What do you want, Jack?"
Well, Sybil, it's Dean. I keep reminding you here. I'm trying to get a new start here, and to leave everything behind me. And it would really mean a lot to me if you could call me Dean.
Dean, why are you bothering me at night? You've said everything you need to say to me.
And I hope you've been thinking about that, Sybil. But honestly, I'm just here because a man can only talk to minors for so long before he develops a hankering for some more civilized conversation.
Are there not any secretaries in town?
She wasn't a secretary. She wasn't anything to me, Sybil. I keep telling you, you've misunderstood. There was nothing between us. We were just having a friendly conversation. That's all.
You may be able to charm all the people you meet, but I know you, Jack Dean. And I've been charmed by you enough. Are you expecting to come in here and get a free meal?
Well, expecting's a bit strong. But you were always an amazing cook, Sybil.
Why are you in this town? Did you follow me?
I didn't come here for you, Sybil. But
That's no surprise.
no, you made it very clear you didn't want me to come for you.
And yet you came all the same.
I had a hankering for the small town life, and thought perhaps that a place where I knew someone might be a little bit more welcoming. But perhaps I was wrong there.
Perhaps you were. So you're going to come here to Dalton, set up here? Are you just passing through, Jack?
Well, I suppose Sybil, that depends on how the people here treat me. If I feel like I'm welcome, I could stay a while. If I'm not welcome, I'll be on my way.
Well, then I hope you find some welcoming people here, Dean. But I'm not betting on it. Good night, Mr. Baker. And she closes the door.
I think that went well. She's coming around. I say to myself as I walk away.
Meanwhile, back on the road, Peter, you have patted away this fire, and Father or Preacher Dan and you. Honestly, I think I want out of both of you and act under pressure individually. So both of you roll as your horses are really rearing and acting up. So let's get one first out of you. Let's do Preacher Dan first. So rolling with cool.
Oh yeah, 10.
Oh, fantastic! That is really good with your -1. And from you, Peter.
Hey,
With
Grandpa
my
Horse. It's okay. It's okay, Grandpa Horse.
with my -1, that's a 9.
Ooh, again, really good rolls out of both of you. I think Preacher Dan, you managed to keep old Grandpa under control as all this is going on. But Peter, I'm gonna have to ask. You have an option here. You can hang on to control of your stallion, but in doing so, it's probably going to take away from you being able to put out that flame as effectively as you want. So you probably will take another harm before you get a chance to put it out, or your horse will buck you, and falling into the ground, you will definitely put out the flame.
Will I lose my horse if it bucks me?
It will probably run. Now, it will more than likely run home.
If it'll run, If it'll
It's
run
a well-trained horse, it'll head back to the barn.
Okay, yeah. If it's a well-trained horse and it'll run back to the barn, then I'll fall off.
All right, then I think we have this great stallion kind of rear up as Peter falls back to the road. And it begins running just off into the distance back the way it came. And you've got kind of the oil burning, but the road around you is very dark. Preacher Dan, old Grandpa, not as frisky as that great stallion was, gets under your control. But you see, Mr. Mayhew there on the road. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna get down and Mr. Mayhew, are you okay? Is anything injured? Don't move. Don't move. Let me lay my hands on you.
No, it's fine. It's a little scuffed burn. Nothing I haven't endured before, but it seems.
He starts just mushing around on his body.
You don't
Yeah.
need to do that. I'm fine.
Certainly, sir. Yeah.
What
Man.
I would appreciate, though, is it seems my horse has made its way back home. If you could give me a lift into town on yours.
I don't know. Old Grandpa. I mean, I don't know if he can hold two people. I guess we could try.
Well, if the horse isn't up to it, at least maybe I'll go side to side with you while we walk. It's not. I don't think it's in either of our best interests to move alone right now with what is going on in the wood.
Okay, Grandpa. This guy, he just fell down, and his horse, who's not as good as you, just ran off. So Grandpa, maybe you got it in it. Please God, help Grandpa, help this poor man.
I think that as you both are able to get up on Grandpa, and he begins plodding his way back into town. You both saw something really unusual. What is the conversation the two of you have as you begin heading into Dalton?
You seem like a very kind man, Preacher Dan. But has any of the Dalton locals had a chance to explain to you about Dalton and how Dalton is a unique place?
Not necessarily. I've just our conversation has mostly been around the good word.
And please
What?
get off my lawn.
Yeah. What's so unique about Dalton?
Well, Dalton is certainly touched by the Lord's light in certain places, as I myself believe. It's become apparent that other things at time wish to put its own markings on Dalton. And I think you saw,
like Satan.
like Satan. And I believe what you saw there in that woods, from what I could commend and saw myself, was an act of Satan.
Wait, what? That no. Oh dear.
Did you not see the way to which it moved as if no earthly man could?
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I guess that's why I'm here. You know, God doesn't give you anything that you can't bear.
That is a choice. But I do believe that it would be wise that in the future you ensure not to be traveling alone at these hours.
Yeah. If I might ask, I'm kind of looking for some new accommodations that maybe aren't as expensive as my current ones. By chance, do you have a place where a selfless servant of God might lay his head for a few days?
That depends. Can that selfless servant of God make good work with his hands?
Yeah, I can do morning prayers for free.
What about with a hammer?
Sure. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
They did say Jesus was a carpenter.
Yep. Yes, that is true. Sure. Yeah, I can give it the good old Columbia try.
You went to Columbia.
Yeah. I School of Divinity. I passed the test and everything.
Do you pull out your diploma?
Sure. I'm like, yeah. This nice man gave me the test and I passed it.
I look at it and I just sigh. Ah, that Columbia. The one with the
Oh, you've heard of it.
I certainly have. But you know what? For some prayers of a man close to God, I believe in God in his many ways myself. I think I can give you a discounted rate in some of the partial areas of my lodge if you put in good work and lead some prayers for the men.
Certainly. This is what I was sent for.
Sure it was.
As you're plodding along the road, you've reached the outskirts of Dalton. The outskirts you've passed a farm or two, and a few folks have gone by you. As you pass the schoolhouse, though, you see a figure heading back into downtown that both of you recognize.
Wait a second.
Tell me, was that the man who gave you the test?
Yeah, that's the Dean of Columbia.
Yes, he is certainly the Dean.
Hey, Dean! It's Preacher Dan.
Oh, hello. So nice to see you, Preacher Dan. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Oh yeah. Just putting that degree to good use.
Oh, yes.
Sharing my divine learnings with the folk.
Yes, Dean is it? And he gives you a look up and down like he knows you're full of it. and just offers a hand.
I give a very cool look back at Peter, and it's sort of a smile, and say, "What are you two doing out of town at this hour? Haven't the locals told you how dangerous that is?"
I was making a quick jaunt to get some ale for my lodge when I came upon this fellow experiencing that very danger.
The bears, I hear.
No, this guy, and he asked for a light, and then when I whipped out my match, boom, he's gone. And then he came back, and when Mr. Mayhew tried to set himself on fire, Mayhew with the lantern, boom, he's gone.
Well, perhaps if Mr. Mayhew had been the person with a college education, they might not have lit themselves on fire here.
Oh my God. He looks at you and he's like, for someone who doesn't know Jack, you may want to think your words carefully.
Well, I speak in jest, Mr. Mayhew. I'm just a humble salesman here. Very proud of the higher education, of course, but you should be careful. I hear there's bears in the woods. As well as, I suppose, people who need lights.
Mm-hmm.
Who suddenly vanish, as in sucked away by some unholy power.
But Pastor, if you're in need of a hangover cure, I might be able to help you out here.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't touch the stuff. I mean, I don't want to judge on others, but me personally, just God's good grace is all I need for a good time.
Well, if you ever have too much of God's good grace, I've got something that can help you out.
Oh, ha, 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 that's a good one. Oh God, that's yeah, all right, well, okay.
So I think in this moment, I'd like to use my telepathy.
All right.
I want to impose just great sorrow and regret into Mr. Baker's mind for treating me poorly.
All right.
Damn.
Okay. So you are putting this emotion out towards Mr. Baker.
Mm-hmm.
And sounds like you're manipulating. And you're wanting to introduce a bit of like guilt over what they've done to Dan. Is that what we're wanting?
No, not for Dan, for how they treated me.
Oh.
How dare he be rude to me?
How he treated you just now, or how he treated you in the past?
Right now, in this moment.
Right now. Okay, cool. So, you're rolling for another hunter. Roll with charm.
Ooh, spicy. That is an 11.
Ooh, very good. So with an 11, you can take this on, getting an experience point if you want, or you feel you're going to feel this weight of it, but you can choose whether or not you feel guilty or not for how you've acted.
Sure. Let's mark an experience point here.
Mm-hmm.
I just sort of Dean sort of staggers as he's walking down, and he looks back at Peter and says, I shouldn't have said that. That was flippant of me, and we've never met before, but I I shouldn't make jokes, and obviously, getting burned was very serious for you. I feel so terrible about what I just did, and in front of a man of God and everything.
Yes, exactly. That's a good way to feel, then, Mr. Baker. Reflecting upon your actions, especially in front of a man of God. But
You a man of God too?
I'm a
You
man
sound
of
like one.
belief. I'm a man of belief. A man of business.
Hmm. Well, I'm certainly one of those two things.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But why don't this? You're also wandering yourself. How about I treat the two of you to a drink at my lodge, and we can talk more about what you heard about these bears. Last thing I need is bears near my lodge. Well, I mean, they can be hunted, but
Is the lodge in town or is the lodge out of town?
I'm thinking it's not far out of town, but clearly there was the
So you were riding from the
Right,
lodge
yeah.
into town to get
Right.
beer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this invitation would require us to go back out into the wilderness. Was it?
Out of town. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
That's
would.
Mhm.
I'd be happy to accept that, sir. As apologies, but this time of night, I'd probably need a bed to sleep on as well.
We have servants' quarters.
Hmm. I suppose I deserve that. Let me just make a quick stop at my wagon. I need to get my pack.
Yes, you can get your wagon and we'll grab the beer.
Yes,
And
we can take the wagon out if you'd like.
Oh, that sounds good. Yes, bring your wagon. Perhaps some of my guests will be interested in some of your cures.
Well, they should be if they know it's good for them.
Exactly, especially since most of them have been drinking quite a bit. See, this could be a very wonderful relationship as long as you're good, Mr. Baker.
Oh, I'm always good, Mr. Mayhew. You know me.
I
Indeed, I do.
love that. Okay, I think we will kind of do one of those fades off scene as the three of you get the beer, the wagon, Grandpa moving off down the road back to the lodge. You make a successful trip. You get a new lantern, Mr. Bayhue. It's not, you know, a man of your means is not having difficulty also picking up a lantern. The cart, your wagon has lanterns as well, Mr. Baker. And so you travel down. We have no troubles as you come back to the lodge. But I think for our audience, we see the three of you heading down the road while as you pass a farm, we see a boy about 18 heading out to the outhouse. As he approaches it at the edge of the woods around the farm, we see that figure. Excuse me, sir, do you have a light? The boy says, "Hey, I got a match or two." And he begins moving over to him. Sir, have light. And as he reaches that figure, he grabs him, and woof, the two of them are dragged back into the woods. And we're going to take our second break there.
Yeah.
Let's take 7 minutes and we'll come back 20 after the hour.
Oh man, I am loving this back and forth between Dean and Peter.
Yeah. Fortunately, we just got this one session. We just got to make sure that we can bring this to some sort of head.
Oh yeah. I have quite a bit of faith in Tyler. I've been fortunate enough to play several games under him. A couple with Greg, actually. And he does a phenomenal job. I jump every chance I get to play in his Dalton series.
My ears are burning.
I've got a tonic for that.
Speaking of, let's get back in. I'm going to ask, Mr. Baker, lots of patent medicines have an active ingredient. Some don't. Some are mere camphor or whatever. But is there an active ingredient in yours? Is there a bit of, like, cocaine or opium or alcohol in your tinctures?
It's 100% alcohol. Like it's alcohol with like stuff on it to like make it not taste like alcohol.
Mm.
And that's why it works for hangovers. This the hair of the dog thing. But like
Gotcha.
it's all it's flavored and all that.
But like a heavy spirit, so that it really does have a little something to
yeah, oh yeah,
to
100%.
hit that hair of the dog. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Heavy spirits, turpentine, you know.
Little green alcohol.
It can't taste too sweet or people won't think it's a medicine.
True.
It's gotta have a little bit of a bad taste.
Mm-hmm. So, you made it back. The beer flowed for your guests from Boston. Mr. Baker.
In fact that Peter did not mention where his guest was from.
Yep.
I think they were very interested to buy your hangover preemptive, but you know, and these are actually quite wealthy people coming out of Boston. These are Beacon Hill people, and you know, my mother will be very happy to have this here. Thank you. And they, the night passes, you're given quarters. The next day comes. Preacher Dan, you have a chance to do a little bit of your prayer in the morning with a few folks that probably aren't that interested, but I think a few of the servants there will certainly pay attention. The workers are more than happy to listen. The distractions one thing, but they're also, you know, good God-fearing people. And you then begin kind of working a little under what Peter directs as the lodge is being worked on. And so we reach about mid-afternoon. Well, no, I think we'll hit about lunchtime, which would be a chance for the three of you to be together. Because I think Peter wanted to hear a little more about the bears you've heard of, and maybe a chance to discuss amongst you the weirdness of the night before. So I'll ask, Peter, where do you have, where is this meeting happening? You know, a bit of food is probably where we're at, but did you invite them to your more private area? Are we down in like the kitchens, or where are we?
I think we're in the kitchens.
Okay.
I think there's a secondary mini office that's like an offshoot of the kitchen, which is where I have like all the records of all my orders and like a little cabinet for all the food and the liquor and just the grain and everything that I need is there.
Excellent.
And it's just for the kitchen because I'm hoping to one day offload that task onto a kitchen manager. So that's why it's not directly into my office, but
then,
now that's there.
Dean, what was it that you got to indulge in here at this meal that made this really seem like all of this is worthwhile that you came out here?
I think Peter, in addition to the beer that was flowing, had a bottle of good whiskey from the hills out here.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of cheap moonshine out here. But there's a handful of people who know what they're doing and have the patience to let it age. And he broke out this rare bottle of Kentucky whiskey, Kentucky bourbon, and you know, it didn't exactly flow as freely as the beer, but you know, there's better than anything he's had in since coming to this backwater.
And might also lubricate the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly why Peter did it.
And Preacher Dan, which one of the kitchen staff has your message most resonated with?
Yeah, we'll say it's young Juliet, who's she might be charmed by Preacher Dan, and so maybe she's into the message, but maybe it's more of just Preacher Dan's Wesley good looks that's doing a lot of the talking.
He is so pretty. I think she will say to you, well, Preacher Dan, you've got to know that these hills, they're demons in the hills.
Well, I've, the God's light will protect you.
Oh, light,
from the...
You say, oh, Preacher, have you heard of the light seekers?
I've not heard, but might have seen one.
Once you got away?
Yeah. They just disappeared. So what can you tell me about these?
Let's have you roll investigative history.
All right. Do I have any sort of superpower? Nope. Sharp. How sharp? Oh, he's got a 1.
Yeah, he's not bad.
There you go.
Better than average.
7.
That's not bad. You get to ask one of the questions there.
All right. What sort of creature is? What can it do? Let's see. So we know it's a construct. Well, I would say what is being concealed here? Is that an appropriate one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She says, well, Preacher, I'll tell you. There's the boy who asks you for a light.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then there's the old man for whom's light is going out. He's the true scary one. They say you look into his eyes and you lose yourself. But the miners up at the camp, they talk about the woman from down the mine. She's looking for a light. And any who hear her, they ne'er forget her. They'll go back deeper and deeper to try and light her path. And once she has them, they never come back.
Oh dear. Well, thank you. How long has this been going on?
Not long. It's when they opened that last passage. You know, when I came from Dundee, I knew miners there that said you could travel too deep. There are things men should not go so deep. And in these mountains, there are horrors that lurk just below the surface.
Yes, Mr. Smith has told me about the Balrog.
Oh! Speak not the name, preacher.
I'm sorry. Yeah. My apologies, ma'am.
Well, I think Mr. Mayhew has asked for dinner or for luncheon to be served. You should come on in.
Will do. Well, thank you, and I will do what I can to to bring God around this town to protect us.
She moves in close to you and she says, Preacher, there is darkness and you talk of light. Save us, preacher. And she motions you to the door as she picks up a tray and brings it in. And as you enter into Mr. Mayhew's office, what is the most distinctive feature?
Huzzah! Yes.
What is the most distinctive feature?
I think the most distinctive feature is actually a large mounted bear head that Peter Mayhew himself hunted, that had been making its home near where he wanted his lodge to be.
Mm. And this is definitely black bear territory, which they're not massive, but they, they're big and very dangerous. And so, Preacher Dan, as you walk in, you're confronted with the large, angry maw of a bear and the hearty toast of Dr. Baker.
Ah, preacher. So good of you to join us. I was just talking to Dr. Baker about what he'd heard about was oft in these woods.
All I know is what the sheriff told me. Nice man. Good sheriff. You guys are lucky to have him here in this town. He said that some people disappearing from bear attacks.
Well,
on the roads at night and never seen again.
I don't know if that's what really might be happening.
Well, what else could it be?
Well,
no wolves in this territory anymore.
I'll talk about the young light boy and what Juliet told me.
So you'll give them all that information.
Yep, the old man and the young woman, or is it woman or just the woman? When they dug too deep.
Yeah, the miners were talking about something like that. Some weird ghost they're imagining who needs a light. Something like that.
Yeah, something. This isn't, Mr. Dean of Columbia. We might be here to help these people. God might have brought us back together.
You may be here for that, Pastor. I assure you, I'm just here to make a buck.
Inside your head, Dean, you hear, there are things older than the demons. When we fell, we found things lurking below. This is no demon.
I ignore it.
Hey, you okay there, Dean? You kind of phased out there for a little bit.
Oh, perfectly fine. Just savoring this excellent bourbon.
Yes, and Dr. Baker, I think you'll find that you're no regular old Jack, and of course you'd wish to help. It would be the right thing to do for a town that you've been visiting and partaking in care for the health of its members.
What did you have in mind?
If it's bears, and he'll reach underneath and pull out a shotgun, we can handle bears.
Well, Mr. Mayhew, you saw that thing we saw in the woods.
And I think that
was no natural movement.
Yes, and as a man of God, shouldn't you wish to take care of such an unnatural creature for the protection of the flock you wish to hold?
Oh, most definitely. I just don't know if a shotgun is the proper, will do much good against this thing, or whatever spirits are here.
I've learned that many things can be loaded into a shotgun, and I think he pulls out a shotgun shell, and you see he pops it, and it's just filled with rock salt.
Hmm.
Oh, Pastor, if you don't think bullets will be much good, perhaps I pull out a case of bullets for my revolver and Tommy gun. Perhaps you could bless these.
You pull
bring
out your
the-
cylinder for your Tommy gun?
I pull out the revolver bullets, I guess.
Hmm.
I'm not pulling out the actual gun. It's just the bullets. For the revolver, a case
Mm.
of revolver bullets. Perhaps you could pray over these, Pastor. Perhaps a little bit of that divine spirit, divine light might help if get some of these you said demons.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know if Mr. Smith ever blessed bullets, but as they say, guns don't kill people, people kill people. So, I'm sure these are all will be used for proper uses.
Yes, to eliminate a demon.
Do you pray over them?
Yes.
That
Maybe
sounds like
use
it.
magic to enchant a weapon.
That sounds like it is magic to me.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So you will be rolling weird to enchant a weapon.
All right. Got a +0, so. Oh wait, whoops. Oh,
Wow.
11.
Wow, that is fantastic.
That's how he prays.
Well, very, very good. You have no glitch. And I think with such a good roll that you can bless certainly I believe Dean has brought out some bullets for his revolver.
Mhm.
Peter, you have a hunting rifle in there? You also could have a shotgun if you want. I don't mind. What?
Okay, yeah, a hunting. You can go with the hunting rifle.
Your damage is better. You should.
Yeah, the hunting rifle.
So I think that we can do a half dozen to be split between the two or three of you. I don't know. You might want something in your own gun there.
Yeah, we'll do all of them.
All right.
yeah.
So two apiece.
Two apiece.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. I think I'm looking here. I believe your hunting rifle is off a little bit there. Okay. It should be 3 damage.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Yes. Same as Preacher Dad's.
Yes. But yeah, so we get 2 each, and I smile, and I look at him, and I say, see, in a pinch, we can carry around something. And he'll lift up a water jug. Holy water. In fact, and he'll go through a drawer, and he'll pull out a crucifix.
Mm.
Father, if you wouldn't mind another act of God, this, and he'll pop the sort of cork on this water jug.
Oh wow! Well, I don't know. I don't want to ask too much of.
Well, I don't think you'll be asking too much if you're saving a whole town of your flock. God must want you to be prepared.
2 things to insert. Peter, you definitely sensed something supernatural happen.
Okay, yeah, which is why I leave him.
Preacher Dan did that. Preacher Dan, you don't deal in the popery of being called a father.
Right. So I don't make holy water. Is that what you're getting at?
It's more along the lines of being called father by Peter is clearly not what you are.
Yes. Sorry, I missed that. It's preacher.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Manchu. I hope to have a family one day, and father, father and so will never have a family.
Yes, preacher.
Do you try to exert something on this water?
I don't know. I'm scared to roll again.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I think let's say that actually it's interesting. Side effect, most people who have a mystical experience never want to have that again. It's so weird. It freaks them out. And so we'll say maybe this was, he felt something never before and it scared him. Just out of his normal thing. And so we'll say he blesses the water, but he does it, he kind of
He's
goes
not
through the
trying to
motion.
reach out and
Exactly.
All right, that makes perfect sense to
And
me.
Peter can sense the fact that nothing magical actually occurred on this one.
Right.
And he'll squint at you a little and say, "Thank you so much, Father. Let me take this out."
Father,
Sorry, that's Kay messing up. Preacher. He's saying preacher. This is just Kay making a kerfuffle.
That's cool.
Preacher. And I think when he walks to take it out so he can sit it outside, he himself is going to bless it in a less than, what he believes actually is a holy manner. So I'd like to be weird. He's going to try and enhance it because he knows the Father didn't. But it might be helpful if the Father thinks he did.
Preacher.
God damn. Sorry. Preacher. That's just me kerfuffling.
All right, roll it.
And now Tyler keeps saying preacher. I think of that Preacher comic.
Oh my God, that's such a good comic.
Yeah.
And the show was bad.
The show's bad. That's a 10.
Oh, very good.
Whoa!
I have a
God is on our side.
I have a +2 weird.
Yeah, you're quite good at it. You may indeed. With no glitch, you will convey this into holy water. Honestly, actually, I will ask, what is the effect you want to put on this water?
I want it to be able to damage constructs.
Okay, so we'll give it the inflict harm.
Yeah.
It'll do 1 harm, ignore armor, magic obvious, that you've done for this thing you saw.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
thing you experienced.
And better for people to think, people such as Baker, to think that the Father did this than I did it.
Preacher.
Oh God! I just bang my head against my desk. Yeah, for the preacher. Actually, Greg, would you do me the favor and edit your name so it says preacher?
Yeah,
preacher.
Preacher.
That's
Dan.
not a bad idea. Oh, I think
Preacher
I have
Dan.
to leave. I don't think I can edit.
No,
my
you can.
name.
If you go to the left on the little screen where you can just hit the 3 dots and you can hit edit name.
Oh, yep, I see that.
There you go.
Oh,
That way
even better. Yeah.
Visual cue to help me stop my kerfuffle.
I'm bad on that too. All right. You've been watching this, Dean. And you've kind of heard the whole conversation of this. What are you thinking? What would you like to be doing?
I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in any of this crap. I'm not even sure if I believe in God.
Even with the demon? I mean, I'm interested. This is a legitimate question.
Sure, yeah. I forgot about that.
What do you then think of?
Yeah, he absolutely believes. He absolutely believes in the spiritual. But his instincts are practical, though.
Okay.
His instincts are always to assume, that someone's running a racket. That to not assume that something mystical. Because honestly, he doesn't really understand this little runed stone that
Al came from.
Yeah, that he took off the body of that Boston fellow.
Okay.
He knows there's more to the world than what can be seen, but he sort of wishes there wasn't.
I understand that, yes. So as this conversation's going on, are you just enjoying your bourbon and kind of settling yourself to the idea you've been stuck up in this?
I'm waiting for the ask. Like, what shit are they gonna ask me to do here?
Funny you mentioned that because there's a bit of a noise outside the lodge. And someone comes and knocks on the door. Mr. Mayhew,
Yes.
um, the sheriff has come to town looking for Miss Dr. Baker.
Ah, for Dr. Baker. Why don't we come up and greet him? Thank you so much, Juliet.
Of course. Thank you,
I
ma'am.
get suddenly like visibly nervous for a moment.
Come, Dr. Baker, as my dear friend. I'll come with you. Preacher Dan, perhaps you'll accompany us?
Of course,
Oh, I'm a
there's no
preacher
reason.
now. Hey, great.
No reason why I wouldn't come to talk to my good friend the sheriff.
Of course not. And after all, the sheriff and I have a wonderful rapport.
As you head out to the kind of yard area, the sheriff's there. Mr. Mayhew, Preacher Dan, Dr. Baker, I hate to impose on you, but there's been a problem up the mine.
What kind of
Oh,
problem, Sheriff? I'm not sure if that's anything that I could help with. I'm no geologist.
No, but you're a chemist, right? You work with people's humors and such.
Something like that, yes.
They've miners come up from pretty deep, and he's not himself. Seems out of his head. The sawbones they got there, he can't do anything for him. Once I talked to him, I thought you.
Well, I'll certainly give my best patent medicines a go here, Sheriff. I assume the town here can pay for the cost of. I don't want. I'm certainly happy to help. I just don't. Man's got to live.
I'm sure the company will be more than happy to pay your fee, Doctor.
Yeah, so happy to go talk with this fellow, and perhaps this preacher here could lend a hand. Who knows? Maybe the ailment is more spiritual than physical.
yes, I'd be happy to help, and no fee, of course.
That's good to hear.
You're making life hard for the rest of us here, preacher.
I just pass the collection plate.
I want to take a moment and delve into our good sheriff's mind about what he is thinking about all of this and what is going on with my handy dandy telepathy.
All right. I think we could do trying to decide, is this read a bad or
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
Investigate, I think.
No, let's see.
We're not in trouble right now.
No. Yeah, I think investigate's probably where we're looking.
Yeah. Which is nice because I've got a +2 to that. Which I needed because I only got a 7.
You've got all that luck and we're so late.
Yeah, you know what? I'll spend a luck. I'll take it.
Good. You haven't advanced on that.
Yeah, because I haven't advanced on it.
Okay, so you can ask the keeper any questions you want about the mystery, not just the ones listed.
What does the sheriff know about these local legends about the light and how many people or experiences has he had any kind of like personal or knowledge or recountings to him?
This is new to him. Something was disturbed. He's worried that this company has gone down and disturbed something they shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. The bigger end of that is there's a lot of things he's experienced in his time here that shouldn't be messed with. He just thinks this is a new one.
Yeah. And I think Peter's eyes sort of go a little wide when he realizes that. And for the second question, what is he willing to give to keep this town safe?
the sheriff really cares about the people that live here. He is less concerned about this company or the people they bring in.
Okay, but there are some locals who work in the mine.
Right.
Yeah.
His main concern, if this company has brought in a danger to his town, he would say, fuck this company.
Yeah, I think Peter is going to roll his shoulders and sigh and say, Sheriff, I think you should come with us. I think you and I both know that there's an importance to the town of Dalton and the people here. I'd like to consider myself one of them, and my family to come will be Daltons. Daltoners.
Mr. Mayhew, we appreciate that. And yes, of course, we having a gentleman of your quality look into this would be a big help.
And I think having someone with your apt aim and efforts would also be quite helpful for us. If you would accompany us, we know something is afoul in these mines. We know about the lights and the humor impacts that have happened.
He kind
Last
of
night,
gives you a real look there, like you clearly note something is going on.
last night, Preacher Dan and I were nearly accosted on the street by a very strange young man.
Did he ask you for a light?
He did. If this is coming, it sounds like from the mines, from the Townsville locals, what Dr. Baker has heard, then I believe that as good men of this town, and he looks amongst all of them, we should prevent whatever is going on in the mine from going further.
I have to agree with you, Mr. Mayhew. Let's go up and see what needs to be done.
I appreciate that, Sheriff Logan.
All right, then. So we all begin moving from the lodge. Are you taking your full wagon, Dean?
Yeah, I'm not no reason to leave it out here.
No
Bring
reason.
it in. It's got a couple of useful items in it.
Then
I got a case buried in there with my Tommy gun and rune stone.
And so you begin moving off, all of you on your mounts. The sheriff also has a horse. And you leave the lodge and kind of move back up into the hills. It takes a little over an hour, hour and a half, and it is already getting to be about 3 or 4 in the afternoon by the time you reach it. There is a mine shaft that heads into the hill, and a camp that's outside of it where they're processing coal. This is a pretty large entrance into a mine. It's a decent sized mine. And you can see that there are a lot of the workers kind of milling about. People ain't down mine right now. People are up. And they're all kind of watching in towards a pretty good sized tent in the middle of the camp. And y'all are led to there, where there is the foreman of the mine and the sawbones, the dock that they have hired there. There's some kind of thuggy looking guys that are probably mine security who are watching, keeping the other miners away as you're ushered past and into this tent where there is a man in there. You recognize him, Dean. He's that gentleman who did not want to go so deep last night. Said he'd heard her voice. Now he's laying on a cot, and he is very pale. Dean, to look at him, it's not even really the same man. He seems so shrunken in on himself. His eyes are wide open. He's hardly blinking as he says, She just needed a light. She just needed a light. The foreman looks up as you come in and, Sheriff, And sheriff says, "This is Dr. Baker, Mr. Mayhew, the good preacher. We've come up to try and help this poor man." The foreman looks at Dr. Baker. We found him just wandering down the lower passages. He seemed out of his head.
Well, sir, if this problem is spiritual, you'll have to talk to the pastor here. I'm just a humble salesman. But if
Spiritual? I mean,
if it's physical, my Dr. Baker's patented nerve tonic should put him straight right away.
well, good. I mean, spiritual. It's a mind, not a.
I know. All I can say is I have guarantees about all physical ailments from this what they call it now, this newfangled psychology.
Alienists. I don't trust them.
Yeah, well, you don't trust those people with couches, but this nerve tonic, that'll set it straight if this is physical. But if his mind just snapped, well, there's nothing I can do.
Would you be willing to check on him there, Doc?
Certainly. Pull out a bottle of
And you as well, preacher.
patented nerve tonic. And sort of I see if I can get him to drink it straight.
All right. You move over with your tonic. Dan, are you following him over to the young man?
Yeah. I think Dan he respects Dean, but he doesn't know about he knows a lot of people sell nerve tonic. So
As the two of you approach, Peter, I think you and the sheriff are kind of at the entrance to the tent watching this.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Peter, I think you hear behind, there's a general murmur amongst those miners that are being kept away.
Uh-huh.
And you hear one voice kind of rise. He said she'd been calling him. He said she asked for a light from him. And there's kind of that murmur going on behind you.
Mm-hmm. I listened to that, but I do want to take a moment and look actually around the men and specifically into the tent and the front of the mine. Do I catch anything with my sight?
You catch there is something that has happened to this man.
Mm-hmm.
You can sense something has affected him. Other than that, no.
Okay. I will look to the men and say, I heard the awful thing happened. I'm so sorry to hear about this. Is this the first gentleman with such an encounter?
To the one that was out there, because I meant the one you see something has happened to is the guy laying in the
Yeah. No, this is the one who was starting sort of the rumory talk and being
Gotcha.
heard.
As you move over, he's like, "No, there have been others."
What happened to the others?
They didn't come back up.
I see. And then how many of these people are from Dalton versus not from Dalton?
It's maybe 10% Dalton.
Mm-hmm. I see. That's good to know. I'm sorry to hear about your colleague, but you all deserve a safer working environment if you're going to work here.
He sort of nods, we've heard about trade. And there's a little discussion goes on. As Dean, you come up and put your tincture to his lips. You begin to pour it in. And Let's see here. What are you wanting to do with it? Are you trying to get information out of him? Are you just trying to calm his mind? Are you legitimately just trying to pour this down, see if it works, and get the hell out if you can?
100% the latter. Like, I have seen, like, my tonics have, like, some placebo effect,
Mm-hmm.
and there's, like, some stuff in them that can, like, have effects, mostly alcohol and stuff like that. So, like, who knows? Like, he's seen his tonics work, but he knows they're BS.
Placebo very strong.
Yeah, he promised to help, and
As you pour it in, and it sort of passes his lips, that blank expression sort of changes to this hard look, this absolute fear. She called me, and then I saw her. Her legs stretching above me, the massive body, the massive mouth. Preacher Dan, you see this man reacting, having drank this tincture. What are you doing?
I will grab his hand and say, "It's okay. It's okay. That thing's not there with you now. We're with you."
Are you just trying to comfort him? Or are you trying to find out more of what he saw? What are you doing?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll comfort. Does that comfort him? Does it comfort him any? Or
As you hold his hand, he does
yeah.
actually sort of come. He looks into your face, but you can still see the terror.
Okay. And I'll say, "We're gonna take care of this. We're gonna protect you guys." What did you see?
Let's roll a manipulate something.
Oh yeah, advanced move. Oh wait, no. If you protect somebody by telling them what to do, but no, that's
No, but you do have advanced manipulate someone.
yeah.
And
All
you're
right.
rolling off a charm, which is your good one.
I feel a luck point being spent.
Who knows? You
Let's
may
see,
roll
charm.
well.
11.
Holy crap. Oh, maybe someone can help, like a guy
Yeah.
who just shoved some alcohol down his throat.
sure. I'll roll some plus cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing, Dean? I'm curious to
Yeah.
how are you helping? I kind of see him maybe like petting with like one finger. There.
Yeah, I what he's helping with was the nerve tonic mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they're there. It's all right. It's just the nerve tonic at work. This will pass in a moment.
All
All right.
right. Look at that. Super twins.
Oh, did you boxcar it?
I got 8 plus
Oh,
1.
you got a 9. Oh,
Oh, 9. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
9.
That's very, very good. You get your +1. Hang on 2 seconds as I get something ready here for you. Boop. There we go. Cool. Sorry, I'm bringing up the image as you calm him a moment to say, there's a cavern. We broke into it at its lowest, the lowest mine. And she called me. And he begins to describe to you something. And I'm going to share what he gives you. Let's see if I can pull it up the way I want to. Surely I can. I have to believe it. I don't use this one very often. Okay. It is. Oops. That.
Ooh.
Ooh, a cricket. Demonic cricket.
That he describes to you as practically filling the chamber.
So what was it? You broke up for a second.
Practically filling the chamber, that it rose high above him. But he speaks of the beautiful lady that he followed, the voice. But when he got to see her, it was this thing that he reached.
Don't follow that lady.
No, preacher, no.
From my experience, not following ladies is generally good advice.
And with that horrifying image that he has described, we're going to take our final break.
Ah,
Let's do a 5 minute and come back at 10 after the hour.
sounds good.
So who have you played with on the Gauntlet?
I did only one official game. No, sorry, two. I did a fill-in. Let me try to.
Oh, there is so much wonder before you.
I did a low cantrevs game and a lasers and feelings game.
Nice. Nice. I've been doing quite a bit of Gauntlet gaming lately, and I've been quite pleased by it. A lot because recently they did a like a test run for people, so people who are making their own like hacks or versions of games and things like that did like a test drive, and so that was.
And they also did sort of an off Gauntlet organized with the Slack thing of what's it called? Polaris.
Ooh,
Nice.
awesome. Yeah, the more you get a chance to play with people like the Gauntlet, it was a real revelation when I found Gauntlet. They are such good folks. No problem.
Yeah, no, they're good people. I was gonna say, are you playing a lot more than running lately, Tyler, or just super busy?
I've been so busy. I've been playing Wednesday night with Lowell and some of his games.
Okay.
And I'm getting to play Rich's Swoop Gangs here at GCOG, which is nice. But yeah, I
Nice.
haven't run much. Though I am running Worldwide Wrestling next month. I'm looking forward to that.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
One of my fave games.
Yeah, I had my first experience with Rich, playing a game with Rich recently as someone who does not really know the Star Wars, and it was super fun.
He talked about how awesome a gamer you were the other day. He was hanging out.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Because Lowell, I think you played with Lowell too, and we were saying, yeah, Kay's awesome.
Oh, that's so sweet. I was about to say you should take credit for that because the first times I ever played on the Gauntlet was with you, and if they had not been such a wonderful experience, who knows if I would have stuck around. Should have been like, I take credit for this. That's so sweet. Oh my god.
We are here in the last hour,
Yes.
so we are going to ramp up a tiny bit here.
You might call it the witching hour.
Yes. So, I'm going to lay some things we know here down. We have encountered the boy out there looking for a light, and yet we saw when there was a big light, they fled. We've not encountered the old man, and we've heard of the lady who down below, and apparently is this monstrous thing. But also, it is the sweet voice of the lady looking for a light down below. We can guess they are all connected. I think that's a quick leap that they are all connected.
Yeah.
The question now comes down to how do and if we feel like we can take this on.
I think Peter has plans for this town. He also thinks he has a possibly willing body that can work well in the sheriff. There is a preacher with some talent and a man he can blackmail. So he intends to take this little coterie into that mine, and he intends to surely leave. But frankly, he's got plans for Dalton, and Dalton has plans for him, and this cannot set that adrift.
Nice. Preacher Dan, what are your thoughts? Having seen, heard this vivid description and knowing what's going on.
Preacher Dan is scared all the way down to his core. The not necessarily scared for his life, but just the horror, cosmic horror of reality. Part of that being the blessing he did, right? He experienced nothing like that before, and that was very unsettling. And but it's his mission to do God's will, and he feels like he came here. No matter what he thought, he came here because God called him, and so he's going to do this.
And someone who may be someone who is converted has really asked you to help. These people need you. All right. Dean, you have even a different perspective because Al has told you this isn't a demon. This is something even older than that. This is a real nasty that even I am going about. What are you thinking?
I want no part of this. This is I'm not I'm no crusader, no paladin. I'm just a small time businessman trying to keep his head down and going into the mines to fight giant spiders who with have who knows what ancient pre-demonic half to them. I want no part of this.
Nice. So, I'm going to take us up a little bit into a meta area here because I want to ask, give a round, let everybody have an action here of something they might want to do to investigate this more, to read this situation more, to use something they have to talk with or motivate a resource. It is about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock here at the camp. By 5:30 or so, it will be dark in this camp. All they'll have is their torches and their lanterns. Out in the village of Dalton, the farms and villages of Dalton, something is stirring and taking people away. We know that. It will continue and will escalate as as the nights pass. So, what would you like to do, Preacher Dan, in the near to a few hours with this knowledge at your disposal?
Right. Is there somebody we can talk to that saw the old man?
Absolutely. I think, and I'm going to play a little here with, Peter, you've been out there kind of talking with these miners. I think that,
Of course.
Preacher Dan, you could come out and you could hear of the rumors of the old man. The two of you, the three of you will hear these things. And so I think the easiest way to handle this is they'll point you to one of the nearer farms to the mines. Yes. Old Stanislav McLean. He and the wife have just had a new daughter. And the old man kept knocking on their door. Said he needed a light. Then he was very interested in the babe.
To me, it seems like this light might be they're asking for your soul.
Oh.
And this old man, has this woman been seen around town?
No one's seen the lady, no.
They just hear the voice.
Only down the mines.
Has anyone else lived to tell? Or I guess when the old man appeared at this house, everyone was okay afterward? Or
I think this is where we'll get into a manipulate someone because of they don't want to quite tell you this.
Right. Excellent. All right.
And for those who have seen Dalton before, That baby is Granny McLean.
Is it really? Oh, I love it. Love Granny McLean.
Cool.
Wow, she's old.
Yeah.
I rolled a 7.
All right. With a 7, unless you wish to spend a luck.
Oh yeah, let's luck it up.
There you go. So shift down to 2, and you have advanced manipulate someone. So with advanced, not only do they do what you want right now, they also become your ally for the rest of the mystery, or if you do enough for them, permanently. As you're talking to this family, old Stan McLean says, I tell you, he came. He knocked on the door when I opened. He asked for a light. I knew immediately there was something wrong with him. And it was as though he was reaching out to me until he saw little Abigail in her crib. When he saw her, it was as though he was transfixed. And my Mary, she knew then the babe was in danger. She stood up and took the baby in her arms. I swear to you, little Abby looked in his direction. And she, it can't be true, but she spoke. She said, go. And that old man, he turned and he fled because my baby glowed with the light. A light brighter than the fire, brighter than the lanterns. It was a holy light, preacher, I tell you. He was afeard of it.
Thank you, kind sir. We'll do what we can to protect Dalton.
Thank you, preacher. Dean, you're wanting to get the hell away from all this. So what is your plan for the next couple of hours? What are you trying to do?
I go to the schoolhouse.
I am not letting you go.
Okay.
Well,
Let's,
Okay, so I think I see that she is Peter is keeping a close eye on me, and for me this is a bad situation.
yeah, I think you maybe go to leave to the schoolhouse, and Peter will look at you and say, go make the visits you need to before we go in, but you will be back, ain't that right, Jack?
Sure thing, mate. Absolutely.
I think that is a good parting moment, as there's clear threat involved as you work your way towards the outskirts of town. It is, again, the schoolhouse is at the furthest end. It doesn't take you more than 30, 40 minutes to get there. And I think, in fact, as you're walking towards it, you meet Miss Crabapple as she is on the road moving in that direction as well. Back up towards the mine.
Sybil, listen to me. You need to go pack your stuff. We need to leave immediately.
What are you talking about?
You know this town isn't right. There's something wrong here. People are being killed. People are trying to suck me into it. I'm getting out of here and I want to take you with me.
I thought you said if people were welcoming, you were going to stay. You say they're asking for your help? And now you're going to run?
They're not welcoming me. They're trying to use me, Sybil. They're trying to get me killed.
They believe you're a doctor.
I've been very clear, Doctor of Chemistry.
They believe you can help them.
Well, they need to learn a lesson about trust.
It seems I also need to learn a lesson about trust. One of my students' father is up there, and they say he's in great distress. I'm going to go and provide whatever comfort I can. This town welcomed me, and these are good people, Jack.
You're really staying then?
I'm staying. And she moves up and she takes your hand. You seemed like the best thing in my life. And then I saw that you were not what you said you were. But Jack, these people haven't seen that yet. Be
Sybil,
the person they see.
Sybil, you're a good person. You have a good heart. Deep down. I don't. And I think maybe it was your good heart that caused you to think mine was good too. But I'm in it for the buck, and I'm in it to not get killed. And damn it, Sybil, I'm in it to not get you killed either. And I think if you stay here, you're going to die, and I don't want either of those things to happen.
She squeezes your hand a moment before she lets it go. This is the home I found. And I hoped you came here because you wanted to be the man I fell in love with. I'll try to remember you. Well, I'll try to remember him. And she turns and begins moving towards the mine.
All right. I look very dejected for a moment and conflicted. And then I go back to the cart, to the wagon. And I reach under the seat and I use my little key to unlock the padlock that ties my oversized briefcase down there. And I open it up and it's got the Tommy gun and the stone. And I pick up the stone.
What are you thinking? We need to get out of here. This place is dangerous. Screw these people.
The fact that you agree with me is not reinforcing my decision, Al.
Ugh. Some skirts done turned your mind. We got money to make. This place will mean your death. Let's get out of here.
As always, Al, you're right and you're wrong. Getting out of here is the smart thing to do. But I wouldn't be in this town if I was known for making smart decisions. So here's the deal, Al. You're going to help me. You're going to help me stay alive and do what it takes to keep Sybil alive. I don't give a damn about anybody else.
Are you calling me into the world, Jack?
I pull out my hunting knife and prick the finger and lay the bleeding finger onto the stone and say the words that I heard the dying Bostonian say.
Roll me a weird.
Yep. -1. That actually. Hey, 8.
That's a 7. Oh,
Perfect.
that's an 8. Yeah.
9 -1.
You feel lucky?
Yeah. Do you want to take it? Otherwise, what glitch would you like to take?
Let's look at this here.
Let's see.
The effect is weakened. It is short duration. I take 1 harm, ignore armor. Magic draws immediate unwelcome attention, or it has a problematic side effect.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to decide what's most narratively interesting here, to have this work or one of these last two. Immediate unwelcome attention.
Ooh, I like it. All righty. I think that as you drop the blood onto the stone, you feel Al's presence, and it's when he's there with you, it's as though he's right behind you. You can almost feel his breath on your neck. His voice is very much at your shoulder. And you see at the edge of the woods, sort of stepping out, an old man who looks across at you. You have no light, only darkness.
So what do you think, Al? I might have a light for him.
Let's light him up, Jack.
Which one to go for? How far away is he?
Only about, let's say, 30, 40 yards. He's not far. Oh, I'm sorry, 30, 40 feet.
I hop down with the briefcase in hand and take a couple steps toward the fellow and say, "You've made a mistake here, buddy. You've been asking a few too many questions. You've been looking for light, but as you said, you found some darkness." Is he approaching me still? Is he?
He's standing still there at the edge as you're kind of walking towards him. He's got this very intense stare at you.
And I get up to about 20 feet away from him and say, but you're wrong about something, buddy. I got a lot of darkness, but I've also got some light. And I pull out my revolver and shoot him in the forehead.
Ooh, I love it.
With the blessed bullet.
Excellent. Mark off one of the blessed bullets. I'm not even going to make you roll the kick some ass because I think you're close enough. You can't help but hit. As you hit him, there is this kind of you hit him solidly in the chest, and there's this sort of collapsing in he does, and there's this kind of high-pitched chittering noise as he collapses in and is pulled back into the woods, but you can see pieces of him falling away as he moves away, and this chittering sort of as it moves back. And up the road, you see Sybil look back at you. And she smiles, though she looks kind of, scared. She sees the gunshot. Are you staying?
Until I feel welcome.
And she sort of smiles and straightens her dress. You should keep me company while we walk up to the mine.
Behave, Al.
Oh, don't worry, Jack. I'm on my best behavior.
I pick up the briefcase, holster the gun, and escort her up to the mine.
Peter, what are you doing during this bit of time?
Yeah, so I've made my intentions clear to Mr. Baker. Should he not come back, we'll follow him. He's gone and done his thing. I've done my best. I am now going to take a moment to follow up on a hunch.
Ooh.
When something bad is happening or just about to happen, somewhere that you aren't, roll plus sharp. On a 10 plus,
Excellent.
you know where you're needed to go just in time to get there. On a 7 to 9, you get there late in time to intervene, but not prevent it altogether. On a miss, you get there in time to be in trouble yourself.
Well, let's roll it up.
Yes, and that is sharp, which I have. Oh, yeah, I have a +2 in. Yes.
Yep, you're very good at it. Our spooky's sort of min-maxed.
He definitely is min-maxed, which is nice because that makes that a 10.
Ooh, very, very good. All right. So, you have, did you know where you needed to be to go just in time to get there? Okay. I'm going to put that in my pocket for a second.
Yes, and I do have another little activity, I think.
Right. What would you like to do?
So I'm going to approach one of the miners who I know is from Dalton.
Yep.
I'm going to turn to him, and I'm going to, and I think I recognize, maybe someone. I want to see if I can eke out someone who has lost someone to these creatures.
Okay. Let's say this is Robbie.
Okay.
And he actually, that his father is one that got lost down the mine, didn't come back up.
I'm gonna take Robbie. Just say, Robbie, Miss Robert, can I have a moment to converse with you?
Of course, Mr. Mayhew.
And I'll pull him aside a little. Listen, you're from this town, and I now consider myself also a member of the Dalton community. What happened to your family is a travesty.
Thank you, Mr. Mayhew.
We don't want it happening to other people's families.
No, sir.
I can promise you, and everyone else here is from Dalton, not the out-of-towners, employment for at least a year or two, if not more, as my lodge's construction goes up. Should you help me find, I'm sure dynamite has been used to open up a spot. If you can give me a cachet of dynamite, I'm going to go in there with the preacher and the sheriff and the doctor, and we are going to ensure that whatever is down there in those mines doesn't harm any more people from Dalton.
Mr. Mayhew, you shouldn't go down that deep.
We're only going to go as far as we need, and we will not endanger ourselves. And any danger we do it for your children and my children to be and the other children of this town.
Let's have you roll manipulate someone, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a +1.
Okay, thank you.
Because you are really appealing to him. I think, Preacher Dan, you could be around in case we might need help with this.
It is a 9 if you would like to try and help out, Preacher Dan.
Ooh. Let's do it.
Rolling with cool, so -1.
6.
Oh, hey, have you used any of your luck yet?
He's used 1. Do you care to use another?
Bam.
Oh, ho, ho! A solid push up.
And now you're effectively out of luck. You got one
Yeah.
left, but if you use your last luck,
Yeah. So
If you use your luck, you're not completely dead.
not
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 yet,
if you use
immediately.
it at the right time.
That's right.
So you get a full success. Preacher Dan, how do you help in this moment? What do you say to him?
What I say is, I'm new to this town, but this is where I belong. And I want to make sure Dalton's here for generations to come.
All right, Preacher. Mr. Mayhew. I'll get your dynamite. But be careful. What's down at the bottom of that mine? It ain't meant for this world.
And we're going to keep it from coming into this world any further.
And I think after about an hour, he will bring back to you a little chest, kind of like a little pony chest of dynamite. Let's say it's a lot of dynamite. I don't know how you quantify dynamite, but it's a lot.
Nice. And I'm going to pat his shoulder. And I will say, in honor of your father, do you wish to accompany us on this voyage to take out what took him out?
Well, unless you're familiar with dynamite, you'll need someone to set the charges.
Thank you.
And I think it's about this time we see Sybil Crabapple, and Dr. Baker arrive back in the camp. As they do.
Actually, no, I can go past midnight if we have to.
And we're not going to be pushing too bad. I'll keep us. I feel like I'm going to keep us fairly close. We'll see. As you get up to the camp, she will pull you close, Dean, and say, I don't know what you intend, but as long as you stay here, a brave man is always welcome. And she leans and she kisses you on the cheek.
I try to keep a straight face while she's looking at me, but I can't suppress the grin as I turn away. and walk toward the mine.
She runs towards the tent with the stricken man to try and give some comfort. Dan, Peter, you see a rather grinny looking Dean Baker heading your way.
It's always women.
Dean, make her proud.
We've got what we need.
I don't know what you're talking about, preacher.
Of course you don't.
Sure, of course you don't.
I look to the sheriff because we have him, and now we have Robert. And I look to Dean, the preacher, and I say, I believe it's time we headed into the land of the belly of the beast.
Do we get a slow motion shot of us looking really cool?
Absolutely. I think we see y'all go again. We've got lanterns and heading down into the mine. And because of a roll, we're going to cut to deeper down into the mine as arriving at just the right moment. We see our party coming together it is very dark, and these are very rough hewn edges of the bottom of this mine, and then it breaks into a much larger chamber. You can hear the sound of water dripping inside of it, but along with that you hear this weird sort of scraping. Almost like the dry rub of chitinous legs, perhaps. But as you reach the entrance to this large chamber, you hear a voice, and it is beautiful. Excuse me. Do you have a light? I'm looking for the light.
Oh, no, you don't.
I would like everyone to roll an act under pressure for me. Let's go around the horn. We'll go backwards this time. Let's have you first, Dean.
That's 7.
Nice. Next, Preacher Dan.
11.
Ooh. And Peter.
I also have a 7.
Nice. All right. Preacher Dan. This voice is beautiful, but underneath it, you can hear the corruption of it. This is an unholy thing. Dean, this voice is charming, is urbane, is someone easily the right person you could deal with. You could certainly find a way to bargain with this voice. I'll give you an option here. You can steel yourself against the voice, taking 1 bit of mental harm in doing, or you could put away your weapons so that you can go and converse with this voice as equals, of course.
I put my revolver in the holster. It's close at hand. It's not that far away. And I certainly know that any bargain can turn south in a hurry. You know, even though I it's clearly a person to can deal with, it's not necessarily a shooting problem. You know, if there's shooting to be done, I'm not ruling that out.
But who knows? It could. We might be able to avoid that. Peter,
Yes.
this voice seems so calm and rational, and you're really the only one who would have the mental fortitude, the understanding of the supernatural to deal with it.
Mhm.
I'll give you an option here. You could steel yourself and take one mental harm, or you can demand everyone stay back as you go in to treat with it alone.
Oof. I'll take the mental harm. Peter has heard what he knows, and he knows what he knows, and this is not. He doesn't have the gall to assume certain things.
All right, then. Well, then I think as a group, you step in. Preacher Dan, you're so well aware that this is a temptress of the demonic. So as you come in, while there is a figure of a beautiful lady sort of hovering above a pool in the middle of this chamber, you can sense something monstrous and large that is behind it, filling the rest of the chamber. The other two of you see this woman above the water, and the sheriff, hearing this voice, has moved up past all of you to the edge of the water and says, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. There seems to be a problem.
Sheriff, get out of there!
Act under pressure if you wish to try and grab the sheriff as the woman moves towards you."
All right, let me see. Is this what could go wrong when you charge into
Absolutely. Hell yeah,
Okay,
it is.
awesome. Cool. All right, act under pressure. If you help someone, don't roll plus cool. Does that power of the heart? It
Not
says
quite
fighting.
yet.
We're not fighting though, right?
You are, but you're not helping. Help someone is okay. Actually, yes. This would
Trying to get him out of there.
when you help now. Help someone is the help someone move. You're doing act under pressure.
Ah, gotcha.
Even
Okay.
so, like what could go wrong could give you 2 hold, which you could spend
Correct.
to take +2 forward on this action under pressure
Yep.
roll.
Right. So
Yeah.
you could use one of your holds to take a +2 forward if you want.
So I'll do that, giving me a +1 total. 8.
Oh, very good. It is going to put you into some potential danger here. So I'm going to give you this choice. You can save the sheriff, but put yourself where this woman is going to touch you. Or you can shove the sheriff to the side, but that is going to leave you and everyone with you at a disadvantage for what's coming ahead. So it's going to give a -1 forward on your crew.
So it's either let the sheriff get touched, I get touched, or everybody has a -1.
Correct.
We don't really like the sheriff that much, do we?
I love you.
Dan will push him out of the way, allowing himself to be touched.
Excellent.
Hey, I have a question,
Yes.
darling GM.
Mhm.
Can I push Dean in the way to protect Preacher Dan?
Ooh. That edges into a PvP that this doesn't do very well.
Okay.
You could manipulate Dean to see if he's willing to be thrown in the way, but I have a guess at how that'll go.
That's fair.
Okay. So I think it seems like Preacher Dan, she reaches out to touch you. And as she grabs your arm, she begins pulling. You all see her begin to pull back on Preacher Dan, sorry. Dan, you're going to take 2 harm.
You're going to reduce that by 1 if you want with your other hold.
If you wish, or you can keep that
I'll
hold.
do that. Actually, no. I'm going to hold on to the hold. Hold on to the hold.
And at this moment, you are not yanked back yet, but we can all see that it's planning on yanking you.
I'm going to take out the gun.
Hang on. We'll hold on. We'll move around.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
So, Peter, I think there was a moment you were thinking of shoving Dean in the way, but now it is your action. What are you doing? You see the woman has grabbed Dan.
Yes.
I don't think, well, I think with your sight, you can sense there's something much larger in here.
Mm-hmm. I think that I'm going to try and influence this creature that it's not interested in Preacher Dan. It's interested in Dean Baker.
Oh my. Yikes. Oh. So you're attempting telepathy.
Yeah.
All right. Since you're going at a monster, I'm going to give that a -1.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, you may attempt to do that. So you are rolling manipulate someone.
Yes.
-1.
God bless boxcars.
Holy cow. All right.
Side note, asterisk, just like a pause. Are you okay with this, by the way, that my character...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Cool. I just wanted to double check with the player, as I realized that could cause some tension.
They'll do it for the reason you get... Yeah, I think. Okay. I think we see Dan thrown to the side as this woman begins moving towards you, Dean.
I'm gonna just be like, Dean, think fast, and I want to toss the holy water canister to him.
Dean, what are you doing? You have a... Yes?
No, he's just going to go, I didn't actually bless the water. I'm sorry.
As you stumble down to the edge of the pool, Dean, you have a thing of water recently discovered to not be very blessed.
Peter is just going to shout out, I believe in the Father, just like our bullets work. I believe this will work too.
Let's see.
Oh, really? Can I also just turn to Robert and be like, start setting up dynamite?
Yeah, we can definitely do a quick aside as Robert's talking. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, Dean, what you doing? Is it Tommy gun time?
So do I actually see the monster, or do I still see the lady?
Why don't we have you read a bad sitch? I think it is very fair that at this moment you should roll a bad sitch because there's a lot bad happening at you. Many directions of bad happening at you.
That is 8.
Would you care to spend a luck? You do have advanced on
Yep.
read a bad sitch.
Get 3 with read a bad sitch. Yeah, I'm in a really bad sitch right now. So I'll spend that luck point.
Excellent.
Saving one of those luck points for if I need a final gunshot or something like that. But
All right, so you're able to ask any question you want about the situation, not just the ones listed above, and you have 3.
what's the best way to hurt it?
You have everything you've been told is it does not really want light. Light actually is not what it wants.
All right. Let's see here. Just look at my items. I mean, we've got like normal lanterns and stuff like that, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
and lit at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
How can Al be useful?
Demons come from the realm of fire. He can make fire.
All right, I'm going to hold on to that last hold. I pull out the Tommy gun, and I say, "Light him up!" And I blast it. I look over my shoulder and say, "Light him up!" And just unload.
Excellent. Roll kick some ass. Preacher Dan, you sense hellfire raining out of this submachine gun that Dean Baker has pulled out. Peter, you see a demonic face grinning in glee hovering over the shoulder of Dr. Baker.
Yeah.
And I think because of Al, we will consider this a +1 damage and magical.
So I rolled a 6.
Well, anybody want to help?
No, I'm good.
I suck at helping.
We're
but
in a
wait.
fight
This is
now.
in a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So I will help and automatically what I will do is, let's see, how could I help? Yeah, I all of a sudden realized I should have gotten some of that like flash powder or something they used to take pictures. I was like, oh, wait, yeah, that's what I should have done. Let's see, what do I have? Something. So let's see. You need help. If something was to attack him, I could, defend him. What I was thinking,
So you're trying to give him a clear shot. You're like making sure he's got a good shot on it.
yeah. Or how about maybe I draw it forward.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I think what we're getting then is cause woman's moved up closer to you, Dean, but Preacher Dan kind of pulling yourself up from the pool, and in your kind of righteous indignation, we sense that thing that's behind the woman kind of drawing in closer too. So as you're firing, you're going to be firing through the woman and into it. All right. You are up to a 7, meaning you're going to exchange damage. I think that as these fiery bullets go slamming up, we can all now see in the flare that enormous cave cricket creature illuminated. And as the bullets fly through the woman, she's pulled from the middle, as we saw the boy, back up to it. In anglerfish fashion, the lure is withdrawn as the massive cricket comes in closer to you. The bullet slamming into it, and it lets out a high-pitched, chittery scream. You do the extra damage, and I think your normal damage is a 3 or a 2? 2, so 3 damage, cutting through its armor, and it screams in anger, but...
Can I add my harm? I have 1 more hold left. You may spend your hold to inflict +1 harm? Or does that have to be mine?
I will let you do that. I will let you do that. Sending in 4 harm into this thing, and I think you will discover that since this is all armor, you have done about half the damage this thing can take in this Tommy gun blast, as one of its spindly, chitinous arms slash across. You barely duck underneath it, Dan, as the tip of it slashes your chest. Dr. Baker, take 4 harm.
Whoa! I'm picturing somewhere along the lines, Dan from underneath it is going to pull out his hunting rifle and fire some magic bullets.
It is your turn.
Okay.
So you may do so. Roll kick some ass.
Yeah. Kick some ass plus tough. Ooh, tough is a 1.
That's not bad.
Oh, wait. Oh, 11.
Fantastic.
Man, he is kicking. Well, he says kick some hiney, but
it makes sense.
Yeah.
At the moment you're exchanging harm, it will. You have your blessed bullet. Is that correct? You have.
Yep. Yeah.
So I will have that as magic. So it is going to go through its armor. You currently are doing 3 from the hunting rifle. How do you wish to do the extra bit you get for a 10+?
I inflict terrible harm.
Plus 1 more. This bullet, glowing with holy energy, fires up, slamming into this enormous creature. It screams in agony, and even in its anguished, throes of death throes, honestly, its legs reach out, grabbing the sides of this chamber and yank down a stalactite, which slams into you, Preacher Dan, doing 4 harm.
Ooh, he's at 6.
This whole chamber is starting to collapse. This thing is withdrawing back into itself. Peter.
Yes.
You can see that this thing is near death. It is withdrawing from this place, or trying to flee this place, go deeper. It is defeated and running. But what are you going to do?
I have an idea and a half.
Ooh.
Uh, I saw that demonic thing above Dr. Baker.
You did.
I
He's
did.
still there, grinning quite happily.
Yeah, and he's still there and quite pleased. And that just cannot do.
By the way,
And
before this happens, I just
yes.
want to cut in here. I want to spend my last hold
Ooh.
on Read a Bad Situation to ask, are there any dangers I haven't noticed? Because there is clearly a danger, and I think at this point, he might be noticing picking up on some body language or something like that. I just don't want to be caught completely unawares for whatever
I
might be about
think
to
it is
happen.
fair to
That's
say
fair. No, that's fair.
that Peter Mayhew may wish you ill. What are you doing, Peter?
So I have a question because I don't know if that'll take too much time, but could I inform the sheriff that this man is Jack, is a hustler from Chicago?
Yes, I mean, obviously, yes,
Yeah.
you could.
But will that take my entire turn?
No. It might. I would say do what you wish to do in the moment, and maybe we'll have that kind of epilogue out.
Okay, well, because I think what Peter was going to say is, Sheriff, you know I care about this town. We can't let individuals like Dean Baker, or should I really say Jack, insert last name I know you have. He's a foe.
Ye who have no sin, cast the first stone.
I'm whispering to the sheriff.
And I think I overhear this.
Whispering to the sheriff, we cannot let that man into our town. We must, just like and there is a demon above him, just as we must forsake this other demon, we cannot let this other demon into Dalton.
Okay. You say that the sheriff he hears you. He is very caught up in the moment of the horror of what he's seeing, but he will hear that.
Okay, yeah. So I think I'm going to try and launch my special holy water at this creature, but if I splash some on Dean Baker, shit happens. It's holy water.
Okay. And this holy water is not the one that...
So I blessed it.
That's right. All right.
But I made it seem like the preacher did it, and then I did it.
Correct. All right. Let's roll kick some ass.
Oh, boy.
With the idea of a really good roll gives you extra things on it. And it is at this moment all of you hear Robbie go, I have the charges set.
I'll spend a point of luck.
All right.
Actually, I should roll first, right? Can I pick after I roll, or should I roll first?
Absolutely.
Let me roll first. Yeah, no, that's not going to work out. We're going to use that.
All right. So at the moment, you're exchanging damage kind of with Al and this thing as it's trying to run away in defeat. Mm-hmm. Your extra choices here, gain advantage. I don't know if that's a real big help. Terrible harm. You force them where you want them would be probably your thing to make Al into a more noticeable something. I will, just because I'm that evil sort of GM, I think if you did terrible harm, this thing would never return. You would kill it for good.
Ooh. And I only get one of those with a 12, right?
That is correct. Now, I mean, on the other side, Robbie's got the charges set. I mean, who cares if it's still down here if no one can get to it? I'm sure they'll never dig this deep again.
He's got hubris. He thinks he can keep them from digging deeper. He's going to reveal Al.
I love it. The spray of this water catching the edges of the terror down below its legs as it screams down further and deeper. Al, caught in this spray, Dean. In that moment, he becomes visible as he screams at
A
being
demon!
by this water.
The huckster is involved with demons.
The sheriff looks at it and goes, "What the hell?"
I go. Dean goes, "What the hell?"
And that's when Robbie says, "I've lit the fuse! Run!" And we're going to cut to epilogues. We're very late, so very quick epilogues out of everyone, and I think we'll take it down character order. So, Peter, what do we see of Mr. Mayhew? Ooh, I made myself hoarse yelling.
Oh, it's okay.
What do we see of Peter from here? It can be immediate or it can be way down the line.
So let me know if this is okay or I can tweak it if not. I don't necessarily think Peter would definitely want Dean like chased out of town for consorting with a demon, and then he's going to marry Sybil.
Mayhew's gonna marry Sybil? Oh my.
What better way to integrate yourself into this town than to marry the beautiful local woman who's the school teacher?
I'm willing to throw to you there, Dean.
Well, yeah, that's why I said throw the player first.
I'm 100% fine with this. But I mean, my epilogue is also going to be related to this beef.
Cool.
So.
All right.
Cool.
Then, so we see from you, Peter. Show us the scene. Either is it the running out or is it the wedding?
I wonder if it's the running out and it's a deal made at the end. Like, you have consorted with demons. We won't. He's got like the sheriff and Robbie. If you leave town and never come back, we'll pretend that you died a hero. No one has to know what kind of man you really are, what kind of devil worshipping you do.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, I think everyone knows what kind of man I am, deep down inside. You I'm not so sure about. I'll be out of your hair. Don't you worry about me.
And we see the cart moving off. And I think from the schoolhouse, we see Sybil sort of raise a hand as you're leaving and then drop it as she moves back inside. And then we cut to further ahead. We see the wedding of the lovely schoolmarm and the gallant Peter Mayhew. And we'll shift over to...
How do you think of the name Paul Jack? It's like she's pregnant and like...
Lovely. Preacher Dan, what is our epilogue for you?
Well, so we'll say that Preacher Dan realizes that Dean Baker, has a history. But he does feel, coming out of this, he actually, I hate to say it, but he feels like everybody is redeemable. And that, so I don't want to go against...
I've got an epilogue set, so I think that I've got something that's really good. So don't necessarily spend your thing on me if you have something else in mind.
Okay, all right. Well, what we'll say is... Preacher Dan comes out and he sees what happens to Dean Baker.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, never again. That this town is going to treat people that way. And so he, and I'm even want to say is is do Peter and Preacher Dan, I'll ask Peter, do you come to Preacher Dan's services?
Um,
I will say Sybil does. Do you?
if Sybil goes, of course I go. I'm her
Okay.
husband.
Okay. And we'll say Preacher Dan, maybe he finds Peter much more problematic. They both care about the town, but they have different, ways of going about that.
Oh,
Ooh.
certainly.
So we see this long-term sort of dichotomy in this, as we head into the turn of the century, Dalton, torn between powerful figures in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dean Baker, Jack, what do
All
we
right.
see?
It's years later. How many? Who knows? Maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe 10. And Peter Mayhew is heading down the road between the lodge and the town late at night, probably to pick up another keg of beer. When he sees a figure standing by the side of the road, and as he slows to look, the figure says, "Got a light?" and lifts a pistol, and we cut to black.
Oh, I love it.
Ooh, I love that. That's so good.
Oh,
Oh man,
and that, my friends,
I love that.
is a fissure in the dark. Thank you all for playing. We are well over. Do people have 10 minutes for a stars and wishes? I absolutely
do.
All right, then. Let's do a quick around the horn. I went from top of the order last time. We'll do stars from the bottom, and then we'll come back down with. Actually, we'll do roses and thorns because that's probably better than stars and wishes.
Yeah.
We won't have wishes. So we'll go. We'll start with you, Dean. We'll do you. Or I'm sorry. Now I'm a bad person. What's your real name, Dean?
David.
David. There we are. We'll do David and Greg and then Kay. And then Kay, you could do coming back down. We're going to start with thorns. Thorns are things that you might have enjoyed more or things that the system didn't quite do. We don't thorn our fellow players. Then we'll do roses, which we end with happy things. So, David, anything looking at any thorns to give? Believe me, I've been thorned by the worst. Rich Rogers has treated me horrible in the past. So, anything in here that you wish was a little different?
It was a great session. I think the RP to action balance for a one shot was slightly tilted to RP, which worked out fine. But I think the amount of the RP balance would have been nice if this was session 1 of an ongoing campaign. I didn't really roll many dice until the last hour, which is fine.
I absolutely hear you. It is one of my great flaws that I front end too much. Craig, any thorns?
No. Yeah. It was awesome.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much. Kate, any thorns?
Not particularly. I think one thorn that I have to think about with the system, and that is, to be fair, like other things, is there isn't necessarily great mechanics for PvP, as we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when you're playing two very morally circumspect characters, it would be nice to have those options. Especially if the players are okay with that kind of play, which I believe we all were. So other than that, I don't think I have any other thorns.
I hear you. It is not what it's built for. That is very true.
Yeah.
So we'll come back with then. Kay, any stars?
Oh my God, David, what a fucking delightful character. I absolutely adored him. The charm and exuding in your role play with this character was an absolute delight. You managed to hit a range of several emotional plays and different things and vigors with him, and I knew immediately then that I must destroy him. Or at least Peter Mayhew must destroy him. or attempt to. I loved that epilogue. I could really see, like, I would like to think maybe 30 or 40 years later, more my preference than the 10. But
I left it vague because you have some world building stuff you're trying to establish.
Essentially.
But
yeah, but for me and the way I imagine it in the end is I think it's 30 or 40 years in the future and he shoots him dead with a bullet that night. And that is how Peter Mayhew dies. And that is like now going into this canon I have started writing. Greg, I love all your characters. You play such a wonderful array. I do not think any of the characters I have ever played with you have seemed similar. They all really have their own depth of flavor and individualism to it. And to have that kind of range there is really impressive. And I find that great. And then Tyler, I could wax poetic for hours. You were my first GM here. I literally rewatch our OG Dalton game all the time when I'm on like long train rides, ready to fall asleep. I also lament, as much as I think it was right not to record the Midnight Oasis, I have recently found myself wishing it was there so I could watch it and
so
clip it for a reel. But it was such a good time. I am always thrilled and delighted whenever I see that you are running a game, and I am always like hot button, like let me in.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Greg, any stars?
Yeah. Tyler, awesome job. I love the focus on role play. That's my jam. So that's awesome. And then how you did Juliet was great. I was like, have you done like acting in your past? Were you?
I have.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, that makes sense then, because like, damn, this Juliet's legit. Like,
yes, there was a starving moment when I was a working actor.
Awesome. Well, it shows that you can emote and become the character. It was awesome. It was really cool. And then Kay, always cool playing with you. I loved Peter and his opinionated view on the town. And then David rocked it. I loved you really told the story with your character. It like Kay said, I felt the subtleties of Dean.
Mm-hmm.
So
awesome. Thank you very, very much, Greg. David, any stars?
Yeah, everyone was great. This was phenomenal. Both you guys had were great characters and all that. I don't know if flip my thorn on its side that while the balance was a little off, I think it all paid off. Like ultimately, like the Eldritch insect wasn't a huge threat to the PCs as it played out, but the PCs were the threat to each other. And it would have been great to play out over like 4 sessions or something like that instead of it was like a little like accelerated. But that's the nature of the one shot. You can't get around that. But I think that all worked out great, and everyone we had this all 3 players and then the NPCs were all just playing off each other to set up these great self-contained like 3.5-hour arcs.
Beautiful. Thank you very, very much. For my stars, I will say you were all magnificent. Kay, I always love playing with you. I thought Peter was magnificent. He is so perfect for Dalton. You are so steeped in the Dalton mythos. It was lovely. God, it was so good. Greg, I always love playing with you. You are always a surprise and an exciting thing. You keep the games moving so well. Your characters are always so relatable and fun and just a delight to be with. Love playing anytime with you. And it was a real blast to get to play with you, David. I loved our interchange with Sybil and Jack. I thought that was such a beautiful moment. It was one of the shining kind of moments of character in the session. I thought it was really delightful. And you're a hell of a role player. You're a rock star, buddy. I had a great deal of fun. I'm glad that you all did. We will end our broadcast here. So, folks at home, come to Gauntlet. And if you enjoyed this one, there's more of my stuff up. So, watch more.
Check out Dalton Dog Days Are Over.